talking about the bands that were
Local Age opened for Cowboy in 1998. That was the first.
I'm sorry, who they opened for?
Local H opened for Cowboy Mouth.
I'm familiar with Cowboy.
Cowboy Mouth sounds like a disease, like mad cow. Like you get Cowboy Mouth, like you can't stop saying y'all.
H for Chile.
It's a horrible disease.
Exactly. It's
horrible.
Is this the disease we're all going to have when we play like our geriatric cowboy?
Everybody has Cowboy Mouth.
Yeah. Cowboy Mouth's famous song was Jenny Says, which I suggest you look up because it's a fantastic song.
Cowboy. See, I have to write this down.
It's a fantastic song from the mid to late 90s, full of context. Dr. Ryan Kelly might agree with me and nobody else might, but Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, I love bands that most people don't know about.
I know. Listen, I know Goldfinger, but we're talking about really obscure bands here, and I mean, we need to get on some other semi-obscure bands like.
Wait, is this like going to be like hipster music recommendations?
It's going to be hipster.
Oh, you never even know. You don't know about it.
Actually,
yet,
you know what?
Sven, we got icons mixed up.
No. Yeah, so Jack, I'm going anti-hipster, and I'm going to defend shamelessly pop selections, and that's what we're going to do over here. You're just not down with it.
So wait, Adam though just shared his first concert. I'm curious about everyone else's first concerts.
Ooh,
Jimmy, that was the first concert I went to without my parents.
Oh, okay.
That's the first one that counts. Then
I was in the mosh pit for Local H and Cowboy Mouth.
Nice.
Can I include the one I went to with my parents? Yeah. Is that okay?
Yeah. It was the first one with your parents.
Trout Fishing in America was a kids band.
What?
Is this like one of those Up With People style bands that like?
It's kind of like the Wiggles.
Is it based off of that book though? Called? Is it based off the book Trout Fishing in America?
Is that a book? I didn't know.
It's a book. I don't know. Apparently, some profound book. Some dude changed his name to it after reading it.
I've heard of Trout Fishing in America.
My mind is blown. I hear that name and I kind of like all I see in my mind is like, hello, Mount Claire High. You know how to say no to drugs. Like
it was a little cooler. It was a little cooler than that. They sang nursery rhymes, yes, but with an electric stand-up bass. Like they were cool. And
like a Brian Setzer styling.
It was a little bit of Brian Setzer.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were pretty great.
I think my first non-parent concert was Bare Naked Ladies, who I've seen in concert 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
Was there wishful thinking for you, Megan, because you went in there with student debt and going, if I had $1 million?
Yes. Yeah. I really best New Year's I've had was the Millennial New Year, which is from 2000 to 2001 New Year's Eve, which was a Bare Naked Ladies concert for their album Marooned, which was great.
Okay.
Wow.
I saw Hootie the Blowfish with my parents. That was my first cool concert with my parents. So my parents were cool.
Really want to claim Hootie and the Blowfish is cool?
Yeah.
Hey, at the time, no judgment here. We're all in a circle.
My mom went to go see Metallica and was like, they're lame. They're just like they were like
too much metal for one hand.
No, she was like, they're not as good as they are on the album.
That's the penultimate cool right there.
My mom was cool. She's cool. She's still very cool.
I don't know. I'd have to say, I actually didn't start to go see concerts, and the only reason I got to see Bloodhound Gang and all that stuff is I had a friend who was a DJ for a local alternative station back in the mid to late 80s. So I think the first band I saw with him actually was Green Day. And that was probably 96, 97, I think Brain Stew. So it was after Dookie. But now technically, though, I grew up as a band rat. My dad was in oldies bands for years and years. So I actually remember going to and setting up for band gigs when I was 10 or 11 years old. I actually had my first hangover when I was 10. We were celebrating a friend's birthday and ate a bunch of brandy-soaked cherries and drank that much of the jar's worth of juice. So I'm like the Tasmanian devil in the backseat on the way home. Man, this I get home, and then it's like The Room. And my dad's like, well, that wasn't, he totally did like the tightest thing. He was like, well, I'm not going to do that again, are we? And I was like, yeah, I probably will because I'm 12 hanging out in bars. Like, that was like, so, yeah, music was always kind of just a part
Again, I am going to stand by my prediction that someday Jack's going to be like, well, there's this one time I was opening for the Dead. And like,
Jack's totally got a secret life.
I'll be like the roadie in Wayne's World 2.
Oh my God,
like,
yes.
Beat him to death with his own
Maybe he said no brown M&Ms, or it wasn't no green M&Ms or whatever.
But he had to go find the brown M&Ms to fill a brandy glass, or else Ozzy wouldn't go on that night. So Peter Frampton hopped around the corner to the little sweet shop.
I love that someone else loves that movie. That's like Ghostbusters 2. It is an unfairly negatively panned sequel.
I thought Wayne's World 2 was great. I saw it in the theater with my dad when we were like gonna go camping, and we were like, let's just go see Wayne's World 2.
That was a good good decision.
Yeah.
I will tell you both. I will tell you all that my first concert with my parents there. My first adult concert was They Might Be Giants. And we all ended up in a giant conga line throughout the entirety of that theater. With them chanting, "Put your hands on the hips of a stranger." But my first concert with my parents was a local Grammy Award-winning children's singer in Seattle named Tim Noah, who had a fantastically cracked out movie that he did in the mid-'80s called In Search of the Wow Wow Wibble Woggle Wazzy Woodle Woo. And it's all about your imagination.
Wow.
Paging cocaine producer, we have a film project for you.
Plays in some local libraries.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Oh my God. All right, Rachel.
Green Day.
Please say New Kids.
I have seen Green Day a dozen times, so that,
really?
They're my favorite. Yes.
12 times?
Yes.
That's impressive.
Like 3 countries. Yeah, I love them very much. I would follow them.
3 countries?
The earth. Yes.
That's incredible.
Which 3 countries?
America, Germany, and England.
Oh, wow. So no Canada.
No, I was going to see them, but
no
Canada. They're coming here in August. My very first concert, I don't think it can out-nerd the other options. I thought I for sure was going to win most nerdy.
Britney Spears.
It was Yanni.
Oh.
My parents took me. It was actually great. I love classical music, but I was like 10, and they took me.
Is Yanni classical though?
I mean, there's an orchestra.
I probably have the lamest first concert though.
Oh,
because I'm a little older than most of the players in here.
By what? A year?
Opening band was super cool, Boys to Men. The main act, though, who I was really excited to see was MC Hammer.
What?
That is pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet, actually. Yeah, I don't think that's the lamest.
It was pretty fun.
I think Bees is the lamest. Sorry.
No, I think you win.
No. We are
that.
watching that DVD the next time we are in the same place. We are watching Tim Noah In Search of the Wow Wow Wibble Woggle Wazzy Doodle Woo, and I will sing along to that thing because there is a monster song about Musty Moldy Melvin who did the Hoochie Coochie Coo and Greasy Grimy Gertie who did the Boogie Boo.
It sounds like a bad interpretation of Shel Silverstein's body of work. It
similar.
Sounds like. Really? Okay.
It's similar.
Alrighty.
Sarah Cynthia Sylvia Stout.
No. Listen to his actual music albums. Like Shel Silverstein's music albums. Like I Got High and I Missed It.
He has musical albums?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Shel Silverstein is actually.
It was the 70s. You couldn't wear shoes. You had to play the folk guitar.
I love his books though. I read Light in the Attic every night was.
Have you ever read Uncle Shelby's ABZ book?
No.
It is phenomenal. It's just A through Z, except it's not. And then every letter stands for something, and it's all not appropriate for kids, and it is hilarious.
Really?
It is Q is for quarantine. This is an awfully big word, isn't it, kids? You know what this word means? It means come in, free ice cream.
Oh no, he wrote for Playboy.
Oh yeah.
You wrote opinion stuff for
You
Playboy.
are ruining my image of Shell Silver.
G is for gigolo. This is a fun
No.
word. Go tell your mom and dad right now that you need a gigolo. And it had an image of what was probably an elbow. I remember this that well from my childhood, but there was like an image of an instrument, and it was like a gigolo. Go tell your parents you need a gigolo because gigolos are so much fun to play with.
Wow.
And like that's the whole book, and it is like hilarious, especially as someone who like likes
amazing.
to live in this world where we enjoy things from childhood, but with an adult.
Welcome to Clinical Role, everybody. We are serious professionals.
Oh my gosh. Well, on the alphabet thing, like, and to tie back to the concert talk, Bare Naked Ladies did a kids album, but they did the worst alphabet song ever.
Yes.
I
really love that one. There's a book about that too.
Yeah. But anywho, let's play some D&D.
Yes.
Let's get
Hi, everybody.
Got Skyman's here. I saw Wandering Shrinks in chat.
Hey, who's all here?
That's amazing.
Welcome. We are getting to play
friends.
some dice, or roll some dice and play a game. There we go. I can talk. But one big thing, I totally blanked on making the proper announcement for this. So we have a promo code with our friends at Gemhammer who are sort of like now a sponsor.
Are we hashtag not a sponsor?
Yeah, I think not a sponsor.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
But if you head over to Gemhammer & Sons Gaming on their decks, and when you type in a promo code Geeks Like Us, all just no spaces, just one word, you get 10% off.
With threes or E's?
With E's.
I was thinking it'd be like now a sponsor, but the T from the not is like crossed off, and then a W.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, so it's a great way you can get all of their decks. They've got their I can never pronounce it. Grimoire coming out. Grimoire thing. Words are weird for people.
Grimoire.
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 Oh yeah.
Dinglehopper.
The French version.
The promo does not work for T-shirts though, because they use a third-party vendor for their T-shirts. But for all their decks and other things like that, the promo code works. So please do that, and they know you come from us, and that helps spread just awesome love and supports a really awesome company during this weird time.
It's a weird time.
It's a weird time.
It's very weird.
Yeah,
just trying to
it's
get
like
that.
6:16 for me, but for some other people, it's a different time.
9:16 for me.
Yeah,
see? It's so strange.
It's so strange. It's like 6:17 for me. We're like on different times here.
It's like completely different time.
So strange. So strange. Yeah.
Adam's hair. Tomorrow I'm going to send a picture of my son. I was going to do it today with the same hair. They were like becoming one.
All the cool kids are doing it.
Oh my gosh.
I thought about doing the thing that Dr. B did with like, should I shave my beard or not, raise money for Take This? And I was like, I'll cut my hair or not, raise money for Game to Grow.
Like, you will have to cut your own hair. I will pay just to see that happen.
I would pay for him to keep growing it.
I would have my wife cut my hair, but I was like, I would like, I did this as a teacher. I was like, auction off. I made them read books for this, but I would like auction off, like, I'll do a mohawk if we raise enough money,
Yeah.
I'm not above that.
Would you do a reverse mohawk though?
Nice.
Depends on the dollar amount, but
For enough money.
Oh.
for enough money. I mean, for the nonprofit that I've cultivated and hoped to raise from its infancy, yes, absolutely, I would do that for my baby.
Sacrifice.
Megan, do we have any time for very brief announcements?
Yes, very brief announcements. Go for it.
Well, for everybody who's watching, I don't know if you saw this, but Wormwood Gaming launched their Kickstarter for their brand new dice manufactured by our friends at Level Up, but for Wormwood. And one of them that you can get to help support Take This is the Dr. B6. It's a blind box D6 in one of 30 different gems for $15 a piece. It's amazing. And
That's
1 in 100's hematite with gold numbering. My mom ordered 7 because my mom thinks I'm cool.
Aww.
That's pretty
I
cool.
ordered 2 plus one of the other sets, and I'll keep going. Maybe I should up it to 3.
Well, if I play a rogue,
if I
you
do
need
3,
to.
then I want, well, it depends on what level rogue you are.
I ordered 4 so I could roll stats.
Yeah, so see, and then you have they're your stat rolling dice. That's pretty good. I like that.
Very nice.
So now you need 4. That was how that
Now
goes.
maybe I need 4.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I can't do Kickstarters right now. I'm looking at them and
That's
yeah.
No, it's not for everybody because, this is a tumultuous time. But if you have the ability to, if you still, I'm trying to take some of my, each paycheck and spread it around to friends' companies. But so not everybody has that luxury, that privilege. But if you do, if you like supporting Take This through getting some really awesome Wormwood and level up dice, go to Wormwood's Kickstarter. Hence why I'm wearing my Wormwood hoodie.
And I say I like getting cool stuff that also supports a nonprofit that I appreciate. Just like
yes,
there's an extra.
How can you go wrong?
Right.
Yeah.
Or friends companies.
Friends companies.
And when I told my mom that she could support 3 things in one go, she was like,
"That's
done."
That's pretty amazing.
That's so cool.
Your mom's great.
Yeah.
My mom is. She definitely has her upsides.
When do I get to meet your mom, Ref?
Come to West Seattle.
Yeah, I'll come hang out with your mom.
West Seattle, born and raised.
Quote
Did you
from
spend
Adam
a lot of
Daphne.
money?
I'm gonna come hang out with your mom.
Yeah.
At the Starbucks, he was spending most of his days.
Yeah.
So Sonova, where you can go to find this is on my Twitter, certainly. But if you just go to Wormwood Gaming's website, I will actually try and drop a link in the chat momentarily.
Dr. B has a monitor on his ceiling. That's why he keeps looking up.
Yeah, hence why you see my nostrils. I thought this was a good idea.
Let me see. Anyway, music you all will be hearing tonight comes from Tabletop Audio. I'll get that started. And what I'd like to do, I want to try something new for our session recaps. Rather than a Lord Tofferbottom, if I could have each of you just roll a d20 for me.
17.
17? 10?
6.
6.
15.
1.
Oh! Okay. So, Adam D.
Uh-oh.
Could you please give me Gragnold's account of our last game?
I was trying to climb inside of Baeridin's belly. Well, not just climbing in there. I was trying to cover myself in coconut oil and then slowly insert myself after jumping. Oh, he was a whale. Also, we were trying to pull a boat, and the boat was heavy, so he turned into a whale, and I tried to climb into his belly because I'm exploring metaphors.
Jack, what was Baron's account?
We are proceeding in a very dangerous but seemingly necessary direction to kind of help give a little bit of peace to Enkai, which is something that we've all been searching for. So we are worried, we are concerned, but above all, we are caring and loyal. So we go into water. We just passed into another realm, and we met some people who pointed tridents at us.
Great. Adam J.
Well, I was a whale, and Gragnold was all, I should go in your tummy. And I thought, that's a great idea. And so then Gragnold didn't quite fit all the way. So I chewed on him for a while he tasted like coconut oil, and then I spit him out, and we swam underwater, and then we went through a huge porthole into some other kind of watery land. And we're hanging out in the watery land because Enkai wants to throw water at people more often.
Porthole.
Porthole! Thanks, Gragnold.
Emerald, what happened last time?
I don't know. I was asleep. Woke up in a boat, and suddenly, they're trying to throw me in the water saying, oh, you can breathe in water. And I didn't believe it, but apparently I could because somebody cast something on me while I was asleep. And meanwhile, one of, the freaking Gragnold's covered in olive oil trying to coconut oil or whatever, trying to like
It's a totally different scent aroma altogether.
It doesn't. Let's talk about aroma as he tried to actually give Baeridin a freaking high colonic from the inside, and he was trying to make himself ambergris. It doesn't. Oh God, it's so bad. And then we decided to go swimming, and now we're because we love Enkai, and we're trying to help her find her origin the same way the rest of us did. And now we're surrounded by people with tridents who are trying to kill us. Yay!
And Enkai, what happened last time?
We finally made it to the elemental plane of water. We entered through a new way than I've been there before, so it was a little disorienting, but we managed to find one of the floating cities. We weren't really met with a warm welcome, but we're going to go meet the queen in the Citadel, and hopefully we'll get some answers.
All right. So as we rejoin you all, you've been surrounded by some of the guards of this place, and there is this other female water genasi who is leading you in. She's a trident, and she's taking you into this not quite a prison cell, but also not like a welcoming room, essentially. This place is interesting because it's seemingly this mix of coral and large seaweeds that actually people live in and are just gigantic, while also being somewhat carved stone and worn away and washed away by the water. And this one kind of cavern that you find yourself into, it's got some carvings on the wall, some decoration, but not a lot. It's pretty sparse. And after she is able to get you all into the room, she kind of looks back and in common says, "Why are you here?"
You brought us here.
Wait, what? Wait, hold on. How do you speak common?
I learned to speak. God speak.
Not you. Was I looking at you? Was I pointing at you, or was I pointing to the person from underwater who we didn't expect to speak common, who's speaking common?
It's confusing. It all looks like we're looking at each other right now.
I don't think you were pointing. You were sort of gesturing. It's rude to point anyway. That's probably good that you were pointing
at Gragnold and Baeridin. You two, shush!
Oh, speak.
That's clear. Thank you.
Turning back to the lady underwater. How do you speak common?
She's kind of just looking around. It's like the same way everyone speaks it. I learned on the material plane.
So you travel to the material plane with some regularity.
What are you all doing here?
I step in front of like the group of
pointing at Enkai.
We have returned to this plane because I am seeking some answers about Zenquity.
How do you know that name?
I have been here before. He is someone who I discussed with Reef. Do you know Reef?
Never heard of a reef before.
Different town. I am his kin.
And this is also Water Genasi too that you're talking to. So.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't all come from.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just.
You're not all related.
We're not all related.
Yeah.
Same one.
Not all know each other. Not all related.
Yeah.
That's racist.
Yeah.
That's no.
She kind of looks and she's like, "I'll be back." And she swims out of the room, and you see these two guards that are standing outside. So what you had seen out were, the word I was forgetting last week was marrow. Underwater creatures, like fins on their arms. But you see this
not like the bones I use in beef soup.
No.
They probably have bones.
Yeah, they do also have marrow, but
Oceans have bones.
If you wanted to distinguish their marrow from someone else's marrow, would you say it's marrow?
It's a marrow's marrow. Yeah.
It's a marrow's marrow?
Yep.
Just be.
But the guards you see outside aren't fish people so much as like humanoid crabs and lobsters.
Crab baby.
We could use a makeover. I'm just saying.
We're all
They're interested.
We're all in the same place.
We are simpatico.
They're standing about 8 feet or so tall. Most of their body is an exoskeleton. The upper torso and head is humanoid, but they don't have hands. They do have very big pincers and claws.
Yikes.
Do they have a neck?
Yeah.
Gragnold.
They all look like SpongeBob.
It's the biggest crab I've ever seen.
I'm feeling a little bit hungry, Baeridin.
Do I hear this?
I think tonight may be time for a feast.
No.
Hungry? I'm kind of thirsty.
You're in water, Baeridin.
No, don't drink the salt water. Don't drink the salt water.
What am I doing now?
You're breathing. This actually begs a question. Can fish get thirsty?
How do you cook underwater?
Sure. They always make that joke like, well, that guy drinks like a fish.
It's true.
Fish must drink lots.
I don't know if that's really a joke.
You see one of
So much
the
as an insult.
guards
I thought it was just
kind
an
of
astute
off his
observation.
head
about
to your side,
fish.
looking back at all of you.
Just smile and nod.
Is my network.
You all are
Yeah,
waiting
these are
for
my
about
people.
This room would be a lot nicer if you had some couches or like a lamp.
I mean, you can swim up to the ceiling and just kind of like lay in the middle of the water in it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like feng shui, you know.
But
Hold on. What does that word mean to you?
Oh, well, Gragnold and I used to know this guy named Fung, and he would come in and sway all the furniture. It made the room look great, though.
He really liked the foot of the bed to be facing the door.
Yeah, he was a strange guy, Fung.
There's something about energies. Not
Yeah.
sure.
Not
You just
sure.
kind of let him move furniture.
Yeah, he
Kept
started
it.
a moving company.
I don't know why I still ask these questions. I know I'm not going to like the answer, but here I am asking these questions.
I think that made a lot of sense.
I'm actually quite amazed you haven't gone mad.
Oh, I get mad all the time.
He usually hits other people. He mostly throws rocks at us.
And
Actually, on that note, I try and throw a rock underwater just to test
how
it
does that
out.
work?
so roll with disadvantage.
Yeah.
This is just
I fire this one at Baeridin.
You're just going for the one with the lower armor class.
Do I have a lower armor class?
So.
I like this die. My lowest was a 17
Oh!
before my modifiers.
That was a good die.
You're saving your hydrodynamic pebbles. Right?
Yeah, so like you're able to spin it, like you're close enough to him that you get enough of a flick through the water. It's still slow, it doesn't do any damage, but it pings right on.
It was a 26 to hit.
Yeah. Doesn't do damage underwater.
Ow! But also, nice shot.
It's at that point that you see the Genasi come back, and she kind of comes in and does this sort of overly formal bow to all of you.
Can we try and emulate that?
If you
It's
wish
hard to
to.
do underwater, so I'm
Meredith's gonna try to bow. He's just gonna end up doing a somersault.
Yeah.
We're both
Yeah,
just
this is
full forward,
just
free for all.
You both-
I try and emulate what she does.
Okay. Make a performance check.
I got a 10.
10. It's weird in the water. Your feet kind of kick out awkwardly behind you. You weren't able to stay like firmly planted on the ground. And she looks to us. You all have been given an audience at court. I don't know if her ladyship will lower herself to speak with you, but she's at least welcomed you to her court. However, looking around at all of you, know that should any of you draw a weapon, cast a spell, anything like that, you will not leave this plane. Ever.
Baeridin's actually pretty good at drawing.
I'm all right. But if we're going to have an audience, I think I need to be a little more prepared.
I'm going to juggle.
I was thinking I might tell jokes instead.
Well, if you have some paper, we can actually draw a weapon for you ahead of time and just hand it to, on a piece of paper. But paper probably doesn't do well down here.
We understand. They will not draw weapons.
You can paint weapons?
Are we going to die?
I think the whole topic is taboo, guys.
Suddenly I'm a little more afraid than I was before, and there are no spears pointing at me.
Sculpt weapons.
I would have said I wet myself, but I can't tell.
She looks over towards you and she's, I can.
Oh, I'm a little less scared.
Why is the water warm right now?
Downstream
I
of the
don't know. It's not me.
Strange.
I spilled my beer.
Your beer is warm and smells like urine.
Megan, question.
Yes.
Question. I believe there was talk right at the end of last game about us trying to drink a potion of wonder.
Yeah, I was kind of curious.
That's right. Who was doing that?
My guess is it was...
All right, Immeral. So here's the deal. I have a deck. Whoop, and cards are falling out of it. Tell me when and I will stop cutting.
He's
and
drinking it right now in front of this lady.
Where I stop cutting, that's where we go.
Stop.
I think I need a little bit of liquid courage. Yeah.
Okay, this is one that we've had before, but for the comedic
Please say
value,
the true Dabney.
I hope
Dabney?
It's not.
Oh,
It's
man.
not.
No!
There's no.
I'm going to full on turn to him and I will put my hands on his face and go, there you are, Dad.
You are the Dabney.
There you are. You are the one true Dabney.
That is ridiculous.
suddenly this gauntlet that Immeral's been carrying makes sense. Who the hell is Immeral? It's Dabney. He's always been Dabney.
Oh my god.
Hey, at least you're getting more than one use out of the shirt. Like, come on.
That shirt. Go find that shirt.
Is that off?
Go get the shirt. Come back.
Yeah.
So does the gauntlet like reform from the oatmeal that it was?
Yes.
Oh, that's full on.
Have you held on to the oatmeal?
Yeah, that's like your version of the Kaiser.
I need to go get my shirt.
That is hilarious.
That's too friggin' unbelievable.
That is amazing.
How many cards are in the deck? What is the likelihood of that?
I think it is 100.
You didn't do that.
I
You didn't plant that.
I did not do that.
No, she was totally like cutting randomly, and it was totally
Yeah.
stop. So you are. It is literally. It is a calling.
It is
You're
you.
fated.
That is your calling.
The
Destiny.
one true Dabney.
That is clear.
It is.
There
destiny.
was no magic help. Yeah,
And
magic
I actually have the chat open. Gemhammer had just joined us.
Oh
As
my
we were
god.
playing.
Gemhammer.
The perfect timing.
How did that happen? It
It's
is meant to be.
That's a
It
case
is
of the heebie-jeebies
Oh my
right
God.
there.
So she turns
What's up?
to all of you and is like, right, that one's Dabney. Who are the rest of you?
I am Baron Valdusi.
Baron Vallis.
I'm Baeridin.
Baeridin.
I was told not to talk, but my name is Gragnold.
Gragnold.
She looks at me. Didn't I introduce myself?
Oh, that's right. You did introduce yourself. And that one, and you are Enkai. All right. Please follow.
Oh, it's right now.
And she swims out.
I don't know how to juggle underwater.
And so she's just, there's no stairs. There's like, all of these places are tunnels, but obviously it's not meant for walking. You're all swimming as you go up. You come to this one area and like, instead of stairwells, because again, don't need stairs because there's no gravity necessarily. And it's this long, like, those like thermal tubes that come out of the volcanoes? It's essentially like one of those, and you swim straight up, and you can see coming off of it are like different archways and doorways and hallways. One side of it is facing out towards the plane of water, and the windows are gorgeous. They're like just slightly rainbowed, so you can still see out and see pretty clearly. It's just a slightly distorted view, and the glowing water coming through it just creates this really beautiful kind of shimmer. It's like you're swimming up through a rainbow almost. About halfway up, you all are led through a very beautiful tunnel with like lapis inlays and into this hallway, and you can see all along the hallway there's all these different carvings. Make some nature checks for me.
17.
7.
Okay.
17.
Cool.
25.
Jeez.
9.
All right. So Enkai, Baron, and Baeridin, as you're swimming along, you notice on the right-hand wall this depiction of people fighting this gigantic, humongous, tentacled beast. And it takes you... Baeridin, do you know this? When you and Gragnold had that year of traveling, you went into this one noble person's house where you did a small job, and you got a chance to go into their library and look through exotic creatures of the sea. And in there was this illustration that just completely captured your imagination of a beast called a kraken.
Kraken? Not Kraken?
Kraken, sorry, Kraken. Yeah.
Okay.
I was looking at the other books with the exotic pictures.
Yeah, Kraken. Those are not the books you were looking at.
Long tentacles.
I'm coming in.
Gragnold, this is just like those books we saw in that guy's house.
I'm gonna run over there, swim over there quickly. I want to see those pictures again. Those were exotic.
And Kai Barrett, it takes you a moment, but then you're also like, oh, and recognizing what this is, and like, I think for you two, it was a little slower on the uptake because we've heard of this gargantuan monstrosity and to see it depicted, though, it takes a little bit for your mind to wrap around, because the people in the carving are about yay big, and Kraken is about yay big in the body, and it is truly terrifying. There's other depictions of sharks, people riding on sharks. You see an interesting imagery of the surface, what looks like a lagoon or something, with seals and humans around. But coming into this area, it suddenly opens up into this large, opulent courtroom. It is incredibly beautiful. The water lights are shining down through, again, these rainbow glass windows in the top, and it just giving this whole like shimmer and rainbow to the water around you. You see that there's pillars that seem to be carved out of almost, it almost looks like solid lapis, going up about 50 feet with this beautiful, intricate water pattern coming up each of them. You see mermaids and marrows and other sea creatures that are drifting around by the ceilings, coming around again, taking advantage of no gravity and just kind of being everywhere. What catches your eye, though, is at the end of the hall, you see this sculpted throne It seems to be some sort of like large sea temple or something, and you see this woman sitting, or female figure sitting within it. She seems to be water made into a solid being. Her face is behind this strange sheer veil of water. It almost looks like a mist or ice kind of flowing under the water. She has a fish-like tail and 4 arms. And you see that she's got this large creature sitting next to her that she's just sort of stroking as though it is a pet. It is very reminiscent of the carving you saw in the hallway, only on a smaller scale.
Little baby kraken.
Oh my god.
Cracky.
They exist. Cracky baby.
Yeah, cracky baby.
And she kind of just sits with this air of being just disinterested in everything around her. And you see that the Genasi who let you in, she continues leading you towards the base of the throne. As she approaches and goes into a deep bow and kind of tell all the rest of you to... you all do your best and bow and tumble. And
do we need to roll to not tumble over in the water?
I'll say like whatever you are able to do. She is able to. She's like, Your Flowing Majesty, these are the ones who came to us. Enkai, Sister of Water, Immeral, Baron Valdez. No, so not Immeral, sorry, Dabney. Dabney. Baron Valdez.
Wielder of Water.
Gragnold and Baeridin.
We're here to juggle for you.
Her Flowing Majesty of the Depths, Mistress of the Tides, Queen Salona. And
Spell that? S-A-L-O-N-A?
S-A-L-O-N-A, yes.
Okay.
Can we call her my Salona?
Only if you wish to be beheaded.
Oh, my little damp one. My little damp one. Oh, my little damp one. My Salona.
Oh my god.
She kind of looks down at you all.
She would after we just all did that.
Yeah, she totally would. But with a sort of dismissive air and his nods and kind of one of her hands waves. There's another one that's reaching over to tap someone else who's off. And this other you see an elf with purplish skin swim by you all. And he's like signaling you to
asking us to leave.
Basically, like get out of her way, like.
Okay.
And you see some other people like swim over. The queen has lost complete interest in you at this point. She's chatting with some other people.
She hasn't seen our juggling act yet.
Yeah, we didn't get to finish.
Let's go.
Yeah.
This should be entertaining underwater.
I'm gonna pull out, my scimitar and dawn and.
No!
That's really
Slow it up. Slowly, and we're going to throw it between us. Very slowly.
I think it's a bad idea no matter how
I think you should not pull out weapons.
Yeah. I'm going to just kind of like water slide over next to Enkai like, I don't know these guys.
No, definitely I do not.
Yeah.
What if we take out, we just keep them in the scabbards and we just hold them up for all to see? Point. We point. And we'd start.
No.
I kind of lean over.
They just said don't take weapons out, and you're going to take them out.
They said don't draw weapons.
Out of character,
we're
I
not
think
drawing
this is
the
a terrible
weapons.
idea. But
We're
Baeridin would
literal.
100% jump in.
Enkai, do you know of any way that we can get this queen's attention?
I think
Seems we came a long way.
Yeah.
Maybe we
to
should
be so
juggle.
easily dismissed.
I think that when I see the elf coming to like dismiss us, I would immediately like bow like on the floor and be like, "My queen, my name is Enkai. Thank you for welcoming us into your court."
She kind of looks down, and then, yeah.
Why don't you mention that name?
This elf swims over. He's like, "Give her some time. If she never gives anybody attention right away. Make yourselves at home. Make some conversation. Make some friends. I can be a friend. What's your name?
I've come to talk about Zinquiddy, and I say it loud enough so she can hear me.
Ooh, interesting ploy. Interesting ploy. What are you playing?
All my red flags are coming up right now for this.
Really?
I already like this guy.
the Genasi who led us there, that's like what even got us in the room. So I figure it's important, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Hi, what's your name? I'm Baeridin.
Venrock. You can call me Ven.
Venrock. You seem like a stand-up guy.
You seem like a pickup artist. That's what you said.
Tell me, Venrock, what line
Does he
can I
know
use
all
to
the
get
steps
some
to the Jamiroquai video? Like, that's just like that.
Definitely.
100%.
Which one?
Yeah.
Virtual insanity?
The room tilty one.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
virtual insanity. When I was born, my parents named me Benjamin, but I prefer Benjamin.
Oh.
Very good.
I literally met this person. I'm not making that up. I met someone named Benjamin because he was
No, you did not.
he was this guy. No, he was a guy I met in Philly.
Oh.
His name was Benjamin because he was jamming.
Oh my
Anyway,
god.
this guy has been jamming in my mind, just so you know, Megan. He's been jamming.
Yeah. That fits for him.
Mm-hmm.
And what is your role here?
Doing a bit of service. It's required.
What kind of service?
Whatever Her Flowing Majesty wishes me to do.
Which is what does she wish you to do with us right now?
Oh, I just figured I'd keep you all from getting into trouble, because you are new and interesting. New is always fun.
Apparently not interesting enough.
Oh, please. How long have you been waiting here?
Not long.
It feels like forever.
It's true.
10, 20 seconds.
Yeah,
We
almost a minute.
assumed that when we were rushed in, that meant there was some importance to what we wanted to talk about. Apparently we were mistaken.
You got in. Please. You're new to the game of politics, aren't you?
I have no concern for the game of politics.
Is that the one where you have to hold all your cards, but you can't see them?
You put him down, and then the one with the higher number is the one who.
That one. Yeah.
Is this similar to the game of life? Because, I played that. I didn't do well.
I always end up being like a construction worker when I wanted to be a doctor.
He kind of
I
starts
just end up with lots of kids.
chuckling, and he's just like, you're all going to get yourselves killed. This is going to be very entertaining.
You're not the first one to say that.
Yeah, we've heard that once or twice.
Dabney says that like every other day.
And yet we're still here.
Interesting.
Yep.
So you're daring to invoke a very interesting and unique name here. And you're being very quiet. What's your game?
My game.
Didn't we just talk about it? The game of life or the game of politics?
Politics.
No, the card one.
Yeah.
I'm here seeking information.
All right. What are you going to pay for that information?
What does the queen require?
Depends on what you can do to be of use to her. Of service. If those of us haven't been of good enough service, we come back here and have to be at her pleasure and beck and call and blah, blah, blah. It's very boring, but whatever.
Really? So what's your story then? How did you end up here in the queen's service?
Same as many. I wanted to be more. And she was willing to share a bit of power, and so I took her up on the offer. Been doing quite well for myself. Here to learn a few new parlor tricks before I go back out and see what I can do with what she's taught me.
So you're here voluntarily?
Of course. Of course, not everyone is. What's everyone's passive perception, by the way?
18.
Okay.
14.
12.
17.
Is this in my main skill tree?
Yeah, it's down towards the... are you on D&D Beyond or
I am
Roll20?
on D&D Beyond.
Not a sponsor, but also a great tool.
Oh, I see it. Passive perception. 18.
18, okay. So, Enkai, Dabney, and Baeridin, what you all notice, there's... because the room is so alien to you in many ways, of the decor being like floating seaweeds and there's jellyfish around and all kinds of other weird things. It took you a couple moments to start recognizing there is a whole hodgepodge of species in here.
Interesting.
You're expecting mostly to see aquatic creatures, but here's a drow speaking with you. You see other sea creatures. You see one girl who's got sort of brown hair, very large eyes. She looks human, but also seems like a little off. You do see several humans, humans, walking around, carrying like shell trays with food and things. It's interesting. They're in large clamshells that they keep shut so the stuff doesn't float away. They're offering it around. But and certainly, like, you also see just a few different just odd creatures that you wouldn't necessarily expect to see in a water place.
So, Ben, the people who are here, not of their own volition, why are they here? What happened?
Some defaulted on deals, some were conquests. They can all... It's an interesting paradox. They can leave, but those who can't breathe underwater, of course, can't really leave until they make a deal and so show that they have a better purpose elsewhere other than the court. She's a very powerful being. Didn't know that when you came here. Why'd you come seeking her out?
I wasn't specifically coming to seek her. This was just a happy accident, I suppose.
Excellent. So,
what is it that she's looking for? On the surface.
Like she would tell me.
Well, she has sent you back to the surface. Are you not her loyal servant?
Of sorts. I'm given a large amount of liberty to do as I please.
But what is it the thing she wants you to do? Just curious.
Information, power, the usual kinds of things. What her ultimate ends are doesn't really concern me all that much, as long as she keeps letting me have my little politics and things.
Baeridin, try this. It's weird.
Raw trying?
Raw clams.
Squishy.
Yeah. As he's talking to you, this woman who is humanoid but isn't any creature like you've seen before. She's got like these large fins coming off of her ears. Her skin is completely blue. The between all her fingers is webbed, like with small fins kind of coming off the bottom. And her feet are feet, but she can splay her toes out and they're more flipper-like. And she swims over and
you have to chew it a lot, Gragnold.
Pushes Ben. It's just out of the way, and it's like, stop corrupting the youth. What do you want? What are you all doing here? And he kind of smiles, like, I don't corrupt anyone. I'm just gathering a little bit of information. And she just kind of rolls her eyes at him. It's like, is he bothering you?
Not yet.
He hasn't said anything meaningful enough to bother me.
I don't like it. The way he uses his hands.
What? I like him. He's got great pants.
I don't trust him.
I'm a little concerned he has a medical condition called politics.
Oh, many blood-sucking insects.
Mm-hmm.
I know my prefixes.
Who are you and what is your story? There seem to be quite a few people for us to meet here.
There's a lot of people here. I'm Nar, but...
Your name is Nor?
Nar.
Nar?
Nar Kavalth.
Like the opposite of Yar?
Just stares at you.
Legitimately asking.
Probably a sibling.
Don't know. I'm called Nar. If you want to call me something else, feel free.
Well, where I come from, that's a lazy way of saying no.
Oh, well, and like you see the drow He kind of leans. He's like, that fits. That fits her very well. Doesn't it, Nar? And she's, again, death glare towards this guy.
Hey, Nar? Is he a good guy?
Not really.
Okay.
And he's, I'm injured. What have I ever done?
You should go see someone.
To cross you.
He's lying. He's not really injured.
Hi, Nar. It's lovely to meet you. Can you tell us a little bit about...
About what, sorry?
About this place. The people here. There seems to be quite a range of people here.
Well, you have come to the Sapphire Citadel. This is the... Well, she would argue the most powerful seat in all of the elemental plane of water. Her flowing majesty is ruler here. She has been for, I don't know how long, longer than I've been alive, for sure. And she oversees everything around here. She's powerful, willing to share her power, but not freely. And,
Has she shared her power with you?
Manner of speaking.
That's ominous.
In what manner of speaking?
It's kind of foreboding, I would say. That's why it's ominous.
Gragnold, you hear in your head, you're doing really good with your words.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Foreboding.
I learned it from you.
You did. Just, if you enter into any deals, read the small print.
Can
What are you...
say more about that?
And she just kind of like looks around. It's like, y'all are pretty innocent to the ways of the world, aren't you?
Well, this world, sure.
My understanding, this is kind of like things on most worlds.
Is Venrock still here, or did he leave? Is Venrock still here?
He's still kind of lurking on the sides. Like,
Okay. I totally want to hang out with Venrock. So
okay.
I don't like him at all.
It's VENROK.
Yeah.
ROCK.
Or okay.
Oh, come on, Venrock. Benjamin. It's got to be Venrock.
Don't like him at all. Nope. Only people that move their hands like that are people who are trying to distract you from what they're really doing.
Let's test that theory.
I know he's the one who does it. That's how I know this. I learned it from you.
You know what? I will give you that one.
We've traveled around a bunch.
I didn't say we're naive to the ways of the world.
I think she said innocent.
Oh.
I don't know. Can't say that word has ever been used to describe anybody here.
Naive, yes.
Stupid sometimes.
I'd like to think there's a certain sort of innocence about us, a certain childlike wonder.
To trust and hope.
Yes.
We're unfamiliar with the politics on this plane, I will say.
She's just kind of like having this kind of dumbstruck look at all of you. If anybody wants to make insight checks, you're welcome to.
I definitely do.
Do I need to? My passive is 18.
Oh, I'm not. I don't know.
Your passive insight?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll anyway.
Okay.
I got a 13.
I got a 7.
Okay. 10.
6.
25.
There you go. Daphne. Who's Daphne?
Oh, you're not in roll 20. I can't send you a whisper there. Oh, I can send you a whisper in the chat here. Hold on.
You got Discord?
We have that open. I can do that.
Of course I've got Discord open.
Oh, take this. That's right. It is your name. So she's just kind of like looking around at all of you and is like, Right. You've found yourself in the court of one of the most powerful beings on possibly any of the elemental planes. Things are not easy here. Things are not simple. This isn't a thing of like, you walk over and say, may I borrow the salt? And you're allowed to borrow some salt.
You have salt here?
So,
Can we
how
borrow
does it work?
Well, how do we get the salt if we need them?
I'm really concerned now. Some of these snacks are not very salty.
I'm concerned that we're not going to be properly, our food's not going to be properly assaulted.
We're asking the important questions.
I turn to Baron and say, I regret bringing them.
This is a very confusing set of directions we're going to have to follow for this.
Hi! There's a bunny!
Hey!
Say hi. Yeah. Are you wearing your bunny ears?
Did the bunny bring you bunny ears?
Mama.
Mama brought you bunny ears. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, aw.
I love how we're all just like, forget the story.
We're like, oh, story
Yeah.
Aw.
Oh!
Yay, cuteness.
Are you headed to bed?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Can you say bye-bye to everybody?
Bye.
Bye!
Oh, wait,
Aw.
Ah!
My ovaries.
I was just going to say that!
So she kind of looks back and is like, it's all about gaining favors, trading favors. Nothing is freely given. Nothing.
I take out a couple of, let's say, 20 gold pieces.
Okay.
And God, just being the contrarian that Dabney is, holds it out in front of her and just gives her 20 gold and walks away.
And walks away.
Walks back to where he was standing.
What are you trying to do by giving her all this gold?
She kind of,
It's hard to smooth walk away underwater.
yeah.
Actually, it makes it cooler. That's your slow-mo.
I lean into that. It's here's how that goes down. I give that to her and Zoolander my way back.
She kind of looks at the gold and it's like, money and things are all well and good, but favor is typically what is sought.
Okay, well, I will do you a favor. I'm proving your system wrong.
About the money thing?
No, I gave it freely.
I pull out my bag.
She kind of shrugs and she's like, this then will buy you a bit more information. She's interested in all of you, but she doesn't want to show it yet because she wants to observe you to best understand what she can get out of you.
Oh, I remember this from growing up, like some of the different courtesan guilds, and what they would do is they would like not show you interest unless you dropped a handkerchief just the right way. And like, does anybody have a handkerchief? We can try this.
This reminds me of those exotic pictures I saw.
It maybe. Like if we fold the handkerchief into quarters, like four of them, and we drop it, it means we're going to war. But if we drop it, we fold it in half and then drop it with our left hand on the third Sunday of the month, it means we're interested in her.
I still have all those paper napkins from the donut place.
Oh my goodness, how are they not disintegrating?
Yeah, they are disintegrating in your fingers. And a sort of cloud of
for drawing.
And Enkai.
Sorry, Dabney. I don't think this is going to work very well.
Baron leans into Enkai. Have you tried to calculate the level of favor that you're going to be asking? Because I'm a little worried that we're not going to be able to afford such a steep price.
I have not. But according to what Ven, let's ask Nar. Nar, what kind of favors? Ven mentioned information is usually what the queen is after.
Information, favors, powerful things. What those in power seek. Things to make them more powerful.
No one's going to give us a straight answer in this.
Yeah, I know,
place.
I know.
They're all too wrapped up in the exchange. If they give away too much of the hand, then they're not going to get a fair shake.
Well, I think that we're free to not take the deal. So if the deal is something,
Don't be so sure. Remember, one of the things that was said was that, people needing to breathe on the outside can find themselves stuck here. I have a fear that there will be a creative desperation that will force us into action that we might not otherwise choose.
Well, that might be the case. But I got you with water breathing, so don't worry about that.
Hold on. Can I come? Do I overhear this? Because I think we all need to huddle.
Okay, I think
that
Baron
in
and I
no
were
way
having a
looks
private
suspicious.
conversation.
It doesn't look suspicious at all.
I think that should we really huddle? I feel like Nar is giving us free information, but okay.
Okay, Nar, come on over here.
Oh, no, she just got paid 20 gold.
Well,
Nar, sidebar.
Me too.
Nar, side Nar.
Sidebar.
She just kind of looks and she swims over and just like, well, what is it you all want?
Don't tell Ven we're having a huddle.
We're talking amongst ourselves. Let's keep it subtle.
And Immeral and Kai and Baeridin, you notice Ven is floating above all of you. Just
And I deliberately say it loud enough. Don't tell Ven.
I wave at Ven.
I don't.
We all look up at him.
I don't like him.
I think he's pretty cool.
Oh, no.
Did you guys see his pants?
He has very nice pants on.
Does he have nice pants?
You can't
he's
trust
dressed pretty
someone who
nice.
wears pants
Oh,
like
okay.
Not like nobility, but well-made clothing.
Oh, okay.
So-
All right. Well,
Yes, Daphne. Yes.
So my understanding,
Yeah.
and I'm going to whisper just loud enough for Ven to hear. My understanding is that if word got out that we had the ability to give people that if people knew we had the ability to give people the ability to breathe underwater once they leave this, that would be favor to be traded. But don't tell anybody, Nar.
No, not for the queen. The queen's keeping them here because they can't breathe.
Right.
She's keeping right.
Right.
What if she
Oh,
has
so we
the
would-
ability to nullify that?
Yeah,
I mean, she is lord over this domain. She's one of the most powerful people.
that's true.
What if she has the ability to make you not be able
Yeah.
to breathe underwater?
Yeah,
I don't
Someone
know.
in quite a compromising position.
yeah.
But if she didn't know, that means people could escape.
Clamshell. Yes, but
If
I
they
don't think we
wanted
want
to.
to. We
And-
don't want
and-
the queen's
but-
captives to escape. We're asking the
But that
queen
means
for
we could
favor.
flush out her enemies.
Is it okay that the clamshell guy is hearing this?
What does that mean? We can flush out her enemies.
Because if they come to
Anyone
us,
needing
Thanks.
because word got
Don't go
out
away.
and they
It's
came
good.
to us, and we could flush out the traitors for her.
Oh, that's a point.
Ah.
What do you think about that, Nar?
That could be
That's not-
something.
That
Why
could
don't we
be
just share the information about the convergence of the planets and all that?
What do you think about that, clamshell guy?
something. Really, Baron?
Really? We're just gonna go right there, huh?
We're just gonna. Okay.
Clamshell guy's like, don't get to want to start killing lots of people. That'd be nice.
I do.
I don't want to kill lots of people.
Don't suggest killing people. On.
No, let's not kill people.
That'd be good.
No, we're not going to suggest that.
Yeah,
No, let's
yeah.
not do that.
That's what Clamshell guy said.
Yeah.
Dabney, stop trying to take other people's ideas.
Clamshell
I'm not
Um,
trying to take other people's
the
ideas.
wisest one in the group.
When Baeridin mentioned the conversion of the planets and stuff, you did see Ven, like he had been kind of just lazily kind of joking around, swimming above. And again, Dabney and Baeridin and Enkai, you would all have noticed he kind of did a little jerk and then started acting super casual again.
Got him.
My God. Clamshell guy, what is in these little sandwiches? They are delicious.
There's a slight taste of mustard in there, I think.
I think it's almost like a mustard.
I think it might be horseradish. I can't tell.
Wow.
A slippery tiny.
Out of like small seahorses instead.
Yeah.
What is the favor that you're asking for? I'm not trying to be rude or invasive, but up to this point, we've been very trusting and very supportive. But I think that this situation may up the stakes a little bit. I think we deserve a little more information.
I grew up on an island with human parents, which I am obviously not fully human. In my whole life, I've been searching for why I'm different from my parents. And when I came to the elemental plane of water, first I was with you with the Aarakocras when I first got some answers. Then Lady Bircha took me to the water plane, where I learned, after seeking counsel from a witch in the elemental plane of water, that Zinquidi is the djinn that I descend from. But he is trapped somewhere, I believe on the material plane. Not totally sure about that, but he's trapped in an object like a Horcrux.
Do we know who trapped him?
We
what
do
if
not.
the Queen is the one that trapped him?
She might have. I don't know. But as you know, I've been having visions about increased power, and I think these visions, I don't know that they're coming from Zinquidi. I don't know where they're coming from, but they've led us here, seeking information.
Either the visions led us here, or someone gave you them to bring us here.
That is possible.
Does this have anything to do with the thing that I said no to that made you really angry?
I don't remember. What was the thing you said no to that made me really...
Definitely
Oh, yes!
not.
Yes! Yes! Because...
Paul last week, no, that's all I'm saying.
Yes.
Can I try one of those sandwiches?
Yeah, no, I think I need one too. Just... Can I? Thank you.
Indeed, Dabney. It is related to that.
Okay.
Because
Well, then I
think that he was, I believe, there was somebody trapped in an object down in the Underdark. I don't think it was Zinquidi, it was someone else.
That's literally haunting your dreams. I'm glad I said no.
I could have released them.
So they could what?
Well, they're in
haunt
the
your whole
Underdark.
person?
I don't think we're going back. What? Because
What? So they could haunt your whole person?
they're not. So they can go back home. They're trapped.
How do you know that? They're haunting your dreams.
Because
They're
I
giving
am
you visions of destruction.
Not of destruction, visions of power and control.
I made a tea once that made me see lots of weird things. Do you all remember that?
Yeah, but you weren't supposed to put all of those different leaves in at the same time.
No, I was. That's how it works.
Sometimes there's situations, Enkai, where one person views themselves as being trapped, whereas the persons who did the trapping look at them as being secured.
That is true. But we are seeking that information.
Sometimes
no one has been able to give me
things
that.
it's not real. It's because you drank a tea.
Don't think I had tea recently.
No, but at the time we were, sort of in a...
I'm still mad about that. I had forgotten it's all coming back.
You know what? I have tried to be nice to you and be your friend, and I say that I actually say this loudly enough that Venn diagram can hear it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Take that, Venn.
Well, he puts it all together.
I tried to be your friend. And as I'm actually getting angry at Enkai, what's his reaction looking like?
He's now rolled over and is basically doing this.
Just
this big
this is so delicious. It's just happening.
Oh my
Yeah.
Yeah, it is completely entertaining. Just
Do I know if you're being serious or if you're messing with me?
I give you a surreptitious wink.
Okay.
You know what? Just because you're having visions of like some haunted, cursed object doesn't mean that you have the right to yell at me.
Or put our lives in danger.
Or put our lives in danger.
Or put our lives in danger.
What they
Leave.
said. What?
Then leave.
I can't leave.
at this point you hear this, it's not a loud voice, it's sort of this whisper. It's kind of liquid, like, come before me now. Just the water one.
Me?
Cha-ching.
I turn in her direction since I'm mad at them.
Us is the
I'll wink before I turn around. And I will walk
Imagine
up.
a Jessica Walters style wink from Arrested Development.
Yeah. Enkai is anything but subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Subtlety is not her strong point. Yeah, I will walk before her, and I will again give the really dramatic bow on the ground before her.
And I see two of the hands are rubbing the body of this baby Kragan, and you do see at one point one of the tentacles kind of reaches out towards you, and she kind of gives it a little smack, and it comes back. So, you speak of Zenkriti. What is it you know of him? Why do you speak that name here?
I know very little, only that I descend from him and wish to find him.
Why? The coward was able to get himself captured by a wizard. Please. There are much better people for you to focus your attention on.
He's cowardly, is he?
Cowardly, idiotic, it's all the same, isn't it? He got himself captured and isn't here anymore.
And no one has interest to find him.
Why would we?
I don't know. He's not one of us, because she's not. She's
Yeah.
Different. Because he is a djinn.
You think we support our own? Please.
I'm sorry, my queen. I was mistaken.
Those idiotic enough to get caught. And she tenses all four of her hands.
That's cool.
Which it's cool and a little unnerving at the same time.
Definitely unnerving. But
yeah.
It's kind of uncanny.
Yeah.
They get what they get. You're stupid enough to get caught. That's what happens. But I hear he's giving you powers or offering that to you.
Offering, yes.
I hope it's made clear that one such as him has very little to offer. A djinn in a cage, away from his home, unseated from power. The trifle he could have to offer would be a puddle in the plane of fire when one is dying of thirst. Do you truly seek power? And again, all four hands coming out. She's gesturing.
Baeridin, do you have any more sweet and sour sauce?
Oh, it just has this other sauce on it.
No, that was the best.
The clam guy said they were out.
I know.
Can they hear this conversation? They're just away.
They're away. I was actually say probably not. Did any of you have observant?
As a feat?
Yeah.
No, but I've got a ridiculous perception and insight.
No, and actually, she would have been speaking to you in aquatic.
In that, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got clamshell guy with my arm around him like this.
Just eating.
I'm going to try and start juggling stones.
Don't close that clamshell.
I'm having conversations with Venrock about what his favorite snacks are.
Okay. He is very intrigued by you.
I like the one that looks like chicken nuggets, but the other one it's kind of all swirly with all the little different greens. That one's pretty good too.
He's bringing different foods over to you just to have you try them.
Ooh, this one's chewy.
He's great.
Can I talk to Yar real quick? Or Nar?
Sure.
I take her off to the side with watching Baeridin and Venrock talk. Mm-hmm. And I've just kind of nudged, under my breath say to her, watch this. This is fun.
All right.
Just watch this. He's gonna push him to his breaking point.
Could be worth a fight. That would be interesting to see.
Oh no. Hey, Baeridin. Baeridin. Baeridin, do you have a favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh, a favorite? How can you pick?
Favorite pastries. You know what? I think Venrock's really interested in hearing all of the flavors of pastries and ice cream that you like.
Well, you probably want to start with the ones that everybody knows. So there's vanilla and chocolate and strawberry and all the different berries. So there's also strawberry. I think I said that one already. There's blueberry, raspberry.
Watch.
And she's fascinated, but also keeping an eye on what's going on up at the top of the dais.
My queen, I think you misunderstand me. And I bow again.
Mm-hmm.
I was only seeking information.
But yet you came with the promise of his power. That was what brought you here.
That is what called me here, yes.
So is it power you seek?
I've always been interested in learning about the power I already harness. And I hoped that he could help me tap into that.
See. She kind of gives you this look, and again, with the veil, it's very hard to make out the facial features, but you can see her eyes, and it's... If you think of the horse in Frozen 2, how it was made of water yet underwater and solid, the eyes are sort of like that with this... You feel like you're being looked through, like there is not any part of you that can remain hidden as she is staring at you.
Really? Can I try? No.
Oh, it's not so much like...
I just watched Legion, so I know there's look,
but she's like... There is much power in you, I can see. You have tied yourself, interestingly, to the oceans. She kind of looks down at the rest of the group, and she's kind of giving this measuring look, and it is very plain to read, even on the little bit of her face that you can see.
Why then?
Essentially, it's like... This is unexpected and bizarre, and I don't know fully what to make of it. But
at this point, Baeridin and Gragnold, I'm assuming, have eaten all of Clamshell Guy's
snacks.
Completely,
yeah.
And
you are eating the condiments too. Essentially, you've pulled out the kale and started snacking on that as well.
All the little packets of mustard and ketchup.
Yeah.
Baeridin, what's your opinion on mustard?
Wow, it makes a terrible donut, but not bad if you also put ham in it.
I want to send
a ham mustard donut. That's pretty good.
Clamshell Guy, we need more.
And of course, I will happily bring you an assortment.
Thank you. More of those sweet and sour sauce.
Pastries. I will bring pastries.
Megan, do we notice that Salona is looking at us?
I would say you would with your passive, and Baeridin as well. And again, it is this sort of weird look. She's quite far away from you all, so the dais is up. So the ceilings of this place are about 50 feet high, so the dais are probably very close to the ceiling.
And she's giving them a shady eye.
Not shady so much as just
puzzled.
Really puzzled.
Really? These?
And you see her look off, and she just kind of gives another servant a look, and they swim away.
Towards them?
They swim off out of the room.
Oh.
And she's like, what is this? And as the servant comes back in, you see this woman with seaweed hair flowing off of her and kind of patchy clothing, and she's got a skull on the side of her belt, and this strange looking pouch, and her fingers are longer than you think they should be. And she reminds you a lot of the witch you visited.
Yeah.
Definitely not the same one.
Okay.
But she kind of comes forward and it's just like, this one's seen one of my sisters. You missing that luck yet?
I don't want to engage with a witch. So I just look and nod, maybe.
I'm not even seeing off to the hand.
Who's this lady? I don't know.
And the queen just kind of looks over at her and
Leave
she
a message.
looks around. And she's like, strange, but fate touched for sure. They're woven together somehow in a bigger pattern. And the queen kind of nods, and the witch kind of is just giving you all this sort of searching look, and then swims away. At this point, Clamshell Guy comes out and has a whole new assortment of snacks.
I'm still talking to Venrock.
And Venrock is.
And at that point, you might as well call it a croissant, because now it's just full of layers. Now, my favorite croissants are definitely more on the savory
I will say, make an insight check.
Who?
Baeridin.
Would Baeridin care if he was irritating Ben?
Ben's expression is it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a 12.
12. That's enough because I rolled a 2.
Well,
so
I twitch.
with modifiers. No, he's not annoyed. But you do.
He's disappointed.
He keeps steering the conversation. He has asked you questions about Crispies. He has asked you questions about Benjamin and Gerald's.
Daphne, you're letting him give away all this information. He's not there.
He just
I think Baeridin has no
you notice this, but like you're kind of maybe like you're into it and be like, oh, let me tell you about all the streets of Jericho
exactly.
and here's and like
Baeridin has no understanding of keeping stuff secret for any reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
So if he asks about Crispies, he'll go like, oh yeah, Crispies was the best. And we'll tell him all about it, like as if he's expecting him to go visit that town and needs to go to Crispies.
Okay, yeah.
Where's Hobbs and all this?
Hobbs stayed on the
Yeah,
ship,
he stayed back on the ship.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah, Hobbs didn't come on the water adventure. But
and so did Bun Bun. Stayed on the ship.
Bun Bun.
Back to the ship, and Bun Bun will have transformed back into its natural state.
It killed everybody.
Empty ship.
I'm so excited for when Bun Bun
monster
encounters an anti-magic something.
No.
Yes.
We'll finally get to kill Bun Bun.
Y'all don't know what Bun Bun is.
Bun.
I want to eat it.
No.
Some of us are barbarians.
The queen kind of
Gragnold, that is barbaric.
Make sure to tell hey Baird, make sure to tell Venrock all about Lord Baeridin the artist.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't want to boast for someone else, but it's me. So, Lord Baeridin was this great artist. This one time, we were all going into the school, and then I painted some stuff. You understand paint, right? You live underwater, so I don't know if that really hits.
I don't live underwater.
Wait, hold on.
Maybe he knows about watercolor.
He lives on the material plane.
What? You don't live here?
No.
What?
I'm just here for a while. I told you, I'm learning some new parlor tricks.
That explains why you don't have flippers. Okay.
Yes.
I thought that was weird.
And Kai, at this point, the queen leans back a little bit and saying, surprisingly, it seems you all have some sort of power or fate or tied to something important. What is the information you seek specifically?
I would like to find Zenquity and find out how he was integrated into my familial line.
Please, you don't need Zenkriti for that.
Ah, okay.
Simple enough. Powerful mortal girl wanted a bit more power, and she lived on a small island and was able to cross into our plains. Struck a bargain, struck a deal.
With you?
Do I look like a mortal girl?
No. She crossed into the plains and struck a deal, though.
Yes. This would have been... She's kind of puzzling, trying to... It looks like she's trying to figure out, and she's looking down. You see her look towards Venrock, towards Nar, towards a few of the other humanoid creatures. 7 lifetimes ago for most of those folk, for your people. 8, perhaps. But the deal was struck. And if my understanding was correct, a child was also born, but those things aren't talked about very often. No, Zenkriti wants to be free. He wants to come back and gain some power. He's welcome to come and fight me if he wants, but he'll lose.
Can you tell me about how he was trapped?
Powerful wizard. Containment spell sucked into a soul stone. The usual when you let a wizard get near you.
Seems so simple.
Unfortunately. I doubt it. I assume he wishes more than anything. It was a much more interesting and epic story.
Enkai laughs. That's funny.
You all interest me. There's something connecting you all. There's going to be power there. Could be useful. I'm one who likes powerful allies.
I would say we also like powerful allies.
Well, I think then we can come to an accord.
Before agreeing, my queen, I must ask that we can bring my colleagues, my family. They're my family from the material plane.
Easy enough to read the look on her face of like,
no? Okay.
Do we have to?
I'm afraid I cannot agree to anything without them. That involves them.
She rises, and you see that as soon as she does, the whole court falls silent. And she kind of does this little signal with a couple of her hands. And then... yes, she does this a little more. No, she does this kind of elaborate little sort of and she immediately swims up.
With 4 hands, you could really flip off her.
Oh yeah, all directions.
Backflip.
She swims up into this tube out of the into the ceiling. And you do see one of the servants who was sitting there. It's like, she'll talk with you in one of the antechambers, please. And they escort you down and come down. And Venrock at this point is asking questions about Windhold, about the Thieves Guild, about the sewer system.
Baeridin.
Oh no, I'll jump in on this one.
This is all Davin's fault. Not a character. I'm
It
just
is
saying.
Davin's fault.
This is all on
Yeah.
Davin.
For sure.
Oh
Always
no,
trying to
I
impress
jump
a
in on this. Oh,
girl.
let's
He's
talk
over here
about
with
Windhold.
Nar.
My God, the streets are dirty. But it's interesting. If you go right into the park gardens in the middle of the night, but you got to sneak out there because the orphanages, they've got the patrols going on from the volunteers who want to make sure the orphans are safe. But I knew the way around them. And if you go into the garden and you hide just right, you can see the janitors sleeping through their shifts.
So I approached.
The orphanage is a great place to get down into the sewers and talk to the king of all the thieves.
Right, the king of all the thieves. She's a great guy.
Who's this king of thieves, you say?
My ex-girlfriend.
Long story.
This is a long story, and I'll start it right now.
Yeah, no, you should tell her. You should tell him about the story of my ex-girlfriend, the king of thieves.
Yeah.
King of Thieves. Interesting. You have very information.
Yes, I do. Does he have anything on him worth stealing?
Not really that you
In court.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna steal something.
As you all are there, Enkai and one of the servants in sort of the livery of the queen. It's very much embroidered with like a water theme and lots of arms and things. Comes down. It's like, if you'll please, you're required in a side chamber. And that's where we'll take a quick bio break for our players.
Yeah.
You said anti-chamber, and I thought it was a bad place.
It's the opposite of the uncle chamber.
That's a
You're just not allowed to have chambers in there.
Yeah,
oh, it's against chambers.
It's against the chambers.
I learned these things. I'm pro chamber.
And I think Gragnold at some point on would have been like telling you like, you should really stop Baeridin from talking. So he might be putting friends of yours in danger. This.
Oh, okay. I will take the clamshell guy's clam
and
then rip it off of. I mean, I'm imagining he's like the cigarette girls at the baseball games, and I just hand it to Baeridin, and I say, "Come on, Baeridin, let's taste the rainbow."
Well, I was talking to. Woo!
Megan, before we go away,
I've
got to try in character before we walk away from this guy from Venrock. I got to try and swipe something of his just to hand it back to him to show him, just to really show him up.
Okay, hold on a moment.
Just whatever looks most opportune and most precious. Oh my God, is he wearing a belt?
He does have a belt on.
I try and swipe his belt so he gets pantsed.
Interesting. Okay. Hold on a moment. So you're going to do that. Give me a this performance check actually first.
Did I miss? Who's performing?
Oh, Megan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Megan. Remember how I told you I loved this die?
Yeah.
It loves me.
Okay.
There's 2 digits and one of them's a 2.
Oh my goodness. 12. Got it. So
No. It's in the tens unit.
So you go to start pantsing him. However,
you're hilarious.
What you see is there's a brooch up on his shoulder that looks like it's worth 100 gold, 200, 400, 5.
Oh, I'm going for the brooch.
Go for it.
Going for the brooch. How about a 31?
You successfully steal the brooch.
Cool. Cool. I'll leave it on that for the break.
All right. And the Gamer Doc, thank you so much for the host. Or
Gamer Doc!
Thank you. Welcome.
Hey, she's
Hey, we got raided.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Right on our break.
Just right on our break, but we were coming back. We were dealing with one of the powerful creatures in the elemental plane of water, which is fun.
How's everybody in the chat doing?
Yeah. We have a Daphne again. I have to go into
We have
I
Daphne.
can't believe that.
That is so funny. I was like looking at it like, no, okay. That was the card we just pulled again.
It's wonderful to be back as Dabney. I may go and try and find the shirt.
Go
find it. So for those.
Oh wait, nope, it's in storage.
There's a Gem Hammer and Sons card that says the character's name changes to Dabney, and Dr. B had this card before for ages, and now it has returned.
So yeah, I'm going to be Dabney again in game
month.
for 1 month, and the gauntlet of the hand of the one true Dabney reformed.
Yeah.
It's amazing. All my unarmed strikes do +3 fabulous damage.
Well, you're gonna have to go find that shirt at the store.
Oh, that's
no, I'm gonna go find the shirt because I'm Dabney again.
Ooh. Yeah. So it's getting towards the end of summer, and you will be Dabney until fall.
It's amazing. And Sarah's in the chat.
Hello, Pterodactyl. We had a doctor.
Wandering Shrink, Pterodactyl, Gamer Doc, Amadeus Angel. I don't know, but they seem cool.
Yeah, and I saw
It's a cool name.
Sounds of Healing.
Yes. It is a cool.
Oh, Songs of Healing here. Yeah, what's up, Songs of Healing?
Man, we've got all. Yeah.
It's like the whole gang is here.
Sarah made you raid us.
Really? I thought it was because you loved us.
Really?
Yeah.
No love, just obligation. This just freaking guilt.
Okay, wait. She said she loved us. You're redeemed.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That was quick. I'm fickle. And his name is Amadeus, which, if you know anything about me, you know Amadeus is my favorite movie of all time. So,
It's a good movie.
How many times? I'm curious. How many times has Amadeus been asked to rock me?
Oh, God.
I mean, I would do that. I would ask that question every day.
I just assume if I come up with it, it's been said before.
Last night in my D&D game, we played Jackbox instead of D&D.
how fun.
And we were doing the odd man out or whatever, the one where you have questions, but the one person doesn't get the cue and they just have to fake that they.
Oh yeah. Great one.
But we had a question. We had to hold up fingers for how many times you've seen Shawshank Redemption.
I don't have enough fingers for that.
Yeah, it is. It's one of our players just holding up toes.
Yeah, great movie.
I just watched it again for the umpteenth time. It's one of the 3 movies I can watch over and get again and never get sick of it.
But I played Jackbox, the new one, with my neighbors the other day.
Number 6.
Joke Boat, not good. I'm gonna say.
Joke Boat is wonderful.
If you're not
I've had
funny,
so much fun
really
with Joke Boat.
Really, I'm not funny.
Well, so I have fun making bad jokes.
I imagine puns would be great with this group.
Yeah.
Oh, Jackbox.
Mm-hmm.
Jackbox 6.
I started playing Quiplash like every Friday with a group of my friends with a little bit of drawful, and it is very not safe for work. That game is just impossible to have like a PG rating. Impossible.
Yeah. Drawful is.
I'm not trying to with my friends, but I've thought about, like this could be a fun thing for all ages. It's impossible. It's like, what is Michael Jackson also known for?
Oh.
Like, chimp. It's just like there's like
there's nowhere to go with that.
Yeah. What else
do you do with that?
Yeah,
there was a drawful one that was like literally the drawing suggestion was a banana and 2 dots. That was the prompt.
That's funny.
So then we all saw what we saw. We were like,
wooden butt. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Wow.
We actually did a Jackbox night exclusively internally to take this as volunteers, ambassadors, and staff. And it was one of the most fun evenings I have had in a very long time.
I think we're going to do that for our next Game de Gras staff lunch.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I'm going to give everybody a warning. You do not have to worry about your language. We're all adults here.
We just act like children on occasion. Occasion, most of the time. We're all children. It's fine.
I'm just a child with a debit card. Oh Lord. How's everybody doing in chat?
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've done the actual campaign itself.
It has.
I mean, last week was sort of there, but
it was like easing back into everything. Had been a couple months. And so now we're back. Full story mode. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. I did too, Ska Man. I did too.
The accents that it was going to be fun. The accents are great. I want to like Ben so much.
I and Gragnold both don't like him.
I think he's great. I don't know what's not.
I don't know. He literally reminds me of Benjamin, and several people I knew in college who were like really were the pickup artists. You know, they're like the Limp Bizkit like fitted caps they wore backwards.
Yeah.
And, like,
oh God, yeah.
Where's
like
mine?
That type of
I had one like next to me.
A Limp Bizkit fitted cap, $3 bill.
Well, I mean, it's not fitted, but I mean, it's not a Limp Bizkit one. It's for one of our friendly local gaming stores. But you know, I did it all for the Nookie.
Come on,
what?
The Nookie.
Come on. So what?
The Nookie.
So you can take that
cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I've always preferred the Lounge Against the Machine version.
He follows me on Twitter.
Really? Oh my God,
Richard
that's
Cheese
absolutely yes. I love.
Seriously?
I remember when you announced that the first time.
I'm still so excited.
God, that's amazing.
Richard Cheese follows me.
I love his stuff.
Stick it up your ass. Stick it up your ass. Stick it up your ass.
Just to have this remix of the Limp Bizkit song "Faith," it was just cut back and forth with the George Michael version. So it would like it would set up for like the Limp Bizkit. We're gonna about there, and then it would just cut to George Michael. Talk about faith, the faith, the faith.
Oh God,
faith, the faith, baby.
Oh, that's like. Oh, that letdown of your ears where you're like.
But then it would stay George Michael, and then it would, when George Michael's about to cut back into the chorus, it would cut to Limp Bizkit, and it was just the most fun song.
Can you send that to all of us? Because I need to see this cacophony of awesome.
It's on a computer that's over there in my office, which I haven't turned on in several years, but I can track it down.
That would be wonderful.
Back in the MP3 days of the late 90s and early aughts.
Wow,
old school.
So I will tell you all that I saw Richard Cheese and Lounge Against the Machine in Seattle about 8 years ago, and they were one of the top 5 concerts I've ever been to.
Oh, wow.
He had 3 costume changes throughout the entirety of the night. It was only on the 3rd one that he finally came out in the tiger stripe tuxedo, and he did so to a medley of the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song and grunge medley, because it's Seattle.
Nice.
With a bubble gun.
I think the band that I've seen the most number of times, Rachel, you were saying you saw Green Day like 12 times. I've seen Tool 5 times.
Oh,
5 or 6 times, I think.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And I've seen Toadies also 5 or 6 times.
Nice.
I bet Tool was amazing.
Yeah. They were really good.
BNL is the band I've seen the most, with 3 or 4, and they put on an amazing show.
I've seen them so many times that you abbreviate their name.
I had a BNL sticker on my car that had. So my dream car is my first car that I had, which was a 1987 Saab 900 Turbo that had 500,000 miles on it.
Wow.
3rd gear would disappear at times. And sometimes it would just turn off. It wouldn't stall. It would just turn off while you're driving. So you had to hope you had enough speed to get it started again because the key was down here.
You had to pop the clutch while you were driving?
Yeah. And also you had to keep the windows cracked a little bit because some of the fumes vented into the cabin.
Oh my god! You said that sounds like my '84 Rabbit with that couldn't regulate its own internal temperature, so I had to keep the heat cranked up at all times.
Yeah,
I had a truck that had all these features as well. I'm glad I don't have this.
That first POS car you have is just it's amazing.
Yeah, mine had no power steering, no power windows, no radio, no air conditioning. It had lap belts.
Yeah,
it's like a mustard yellow truck.
Wow.
And I would like drive it to the high school and lay in the bed and look at the stars. My high school experience.
That's very Texas, and no air conditioning in Texas is no joke.
Texas forever.
Yeah.
So Adam, I remember at my first internship in grad school, I showed up it was in the middle of winter, and it was the year we had that huge blizzard in Seattle. The last time we had that huge blizzard. So I, of course, it's grad school. I had to keep going to my internship. And I showed up there wrapped up in about a gajillion layers, walked into the meeting for the students. My supervisor, who was a mixture of 1/3 Mr. Miyagi, 1/3 Mr. Rogers, and 1/3 Sigmund Freud, talked in riddles, had a great cardigan and beard. And he asked, "Why you look so cold?" I said, "One day when I'm successful, my measure of success will be I have a car with a working heater." And he paused for a moment and said, "You know what? I feel like you're going to consider yourself successful at some point. You got reasonable goals."
That is amazing. Also in chat, I think that song has been found.
Oh, did they find it? I'm going to watch that later.
Yeah. But anyway, getting back into this. So as you steal the brooch.
I stole the brooch.
Enkai and a few guards, or not guards, guards essentially come over and kind of escort you all out of the room. There are some titters and talks that happen as you're all going.
Before we
bringing clamshell guy.
You stole the clamshell already.
Clamshell guy is the guy on the couch from Half Baked. I just want him to be the background in all of our
guy,
scenes.
Right?
Yeah. It's like
guy.
Yeah.
So before we march off, I toss the brooch back to Venrock and just say, "Careful who you underestimate."
And he kind of laughs, catches it, and before your eyes, the value of the thing just diminishes until you see what it is just nothing but a rusty pin that was on his shoulder.
I want to turn,
and he looks at you and he just looks at you and gives you a big wink.
Careful who you overestimate.
I just
got my prefix scheme.
Good job, Gragnold. Really good.
And you see clamshell guy's kind of coming along with these. I don't think I'm supposed to be. Do you want the food?
Bring the clam.
Yo, the guy, come with us.
I don't think I'm supposed to be here.
I like this green one.
I'll get. He takes off the clamshell and hands it to you.
What is it?
It's the seaweed souffle kind of puree foam that we do.
It's delicious. Go get another clamshell and come with us.
I'll go get another.
Go on an adventure.
Right.
We're going to the knot chamber.
Yeah, it's against all the other chambers.
Meet us there.
With the sweet and sour.
Whatever's left, just scrape the pot.
Get a lot of it. We're really into it.
You all are brought into this room. It's like 3/4 of the wall is window facing out into just expanse of water. You can see like the floor and the ceiling. It looks like you're inside of a piece of coral. There's a few fish and things swimming around, but it's just you all there for a moment. And then after a couple minutes, I have the sweet and sour.
Oh, Quick, come in.
He swims in, gives you another clamshell, and is like, I can't stay. But it is
where's he going?
half sweet and sour, and is just like filled with all kinds of other delicious things for you.
Baeridin, it's our lucky day.
Gragnold, we finally made it.
We did it.
This place is huge.
I wonder what treasures before.
It seems a lot like a chamber.
Yeah.
You all see, standing in the corner, though no door has opened, no other passageway visible into this room, you see the flowing majesty standing there. One of her hands up over the veil by her mouth, and another one on the hip, and then this other just kind of this like fidgeting with her fingers in this sort of measuring way. I can't figure you all out.
I'm Baeridin. This is Gragnold. That's Dabney. This is Baron. And I think you met Enkai.
There's a lot of power within all of you. I know
Thank you.
You carry powerful things, too.
I wave with the hand of Dabney.
Yes. And she actually nods to Dawn.
Have you met before?
Don't think so, but she seems to recognize that I have the ability to speak to you.
That makes me uncomfortable.
It should.
I take a step forward and bow deeply.
I'll take an awkward swim forward and
that's more appropriate. Just like
full
flail forward and bow as gracefully as I can.
What is it you all are seeking here? I know this one wanted answers, which not too high a price on that, but there's something about you all.
I'd like to know what my purpose is.
Does she? Okay, Megan.
Sorry, that was too personal.
How much do I sense that she's hiding things from us?
I'm not even gonna have you roll like 100%. Yeah, like she's not holding. She does not. I'll say this: like I think you probably would have been around the upper level of when Hold Enough, like stealing and pickpocketing and going in. That you would have seen a little bit of the political dance and just understand, like, people who are in power tend to play in power very much. Information is like they will hold things back, and she's 100% holding things back, but is also trying to. You all are a puzzle to her.
You're Freudian.
So
showing.
Okay, you know what? Let's test the waters, so to speak. I step forward, bow as best I can, and say, we're seeking to destroy the rot that's encompassing our world, as well as stop the convergence of the planes. That
I forgot all about that stuff.
Yeah, I know you did.
That's a great question, Daphne.
Hearing that, she sort of looks to Gragnold and is like, so ending the rot in the world and stopping the convergence of the plane is not your purpose, then?
I'm just kind of trying to figure out where I'm going in this ocean of chaos called life.
No, I think this is the plane of water, right?
I'm just all very complicated.
She like genuinely does not know what to do with that.
I used to have a real purpose, and I'm not quite sure what to do with myself anymore. Sweet and sour sauce is great. I'm kind of into that right now.
Enjoy that.
But mostly, he kind of holds the fang around his neck. I looking for purpose. Maybe you could offer me some. It sounds like the rot could be my thing.
This rot you speak of, what is it?
Well, if you cover someone in a wet blanket, it mostly solves the problem, but also fire.
One of those is really easy here.
That's true. You probably won't have rot here. But
this is on account of so many wet blankets.
Mostly, yeah. That's not a metaphor.
This place is filled with them.
Sometimes I call Dabney a wet blanket, and sometimes he is, but mostly that's a metaphor. I mean, here, what I'm saying is, sorry, what I'm trying to say is, there was this mushroom thing that really killed a lot of things where we come from, and it was troublesome. And I think it's getting worse.
Demon?
It's sort of a demon thing, I think.
Like a demon mushroom.
It's sort of a demon mushroom, and not the kind of mushroom that makes you see weird things in my tea.
Dabney,
I actually sneak up behind them and cover their mouths again. So, Your Majesty, it's been made clear to us that information is at a premium in your court, and careless talking could put us in danger. So we need to know.
It's a careless whisper.
Yes!
I don't want that Venn guy to hear what I'm saying. Because I don't like him.
He's never going to dance again.
This seem okay to me.
We need to know if you are our friend or our enemy.
I'm no one's friend.
Well, that's honest.
What you're doing is interesting enough to afford you that. I don't have to be your enemy, though.
Oh, that's good. I take my hand down.
Where are you going to fight this rot? I know on the prime material, specifically, where are you going to? Where is your destination?
Baron's place. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, I can't
Are we going
remember.
Baron? Oh no, I gotta scroll up like a lot.
Does this have anything to do with... Remember the Star Child? That was weird.
Is that where we're headed to? We're headed to Baron's home?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got to the part where it says Baeridin got an eye patch.
Yeah, unfortunately tonight my there's something still wrong with my Chrome, so I have no access to any of my my
notes
Twitter,
or anything.
Facebook, Google, nothing. So
you just need to know that guilty feet have got no rhythm.
How you entered close to this place where you encountered me, yes?
Yes. We're traveling north.
We're here to support Enkai, a friend, in her quest, as she has helped all of us in ours. So camaraderie is our purpose, if you must know.
That is mostly my purpose.
I will help you. But you will tell me what you know of this rot. You will fill me in. I will send agents. You've already met Nar and Venrock, I saw.
Oh, don't. Can you bring the clamshell guy?
What are you talking about? The two of them together is like an odd couple episode.
You know, I
separately. I could say
Snake on the end.
Definitely. They won't be with us.
But if you leave Venrock out of this, we'll tell you about the rot, okay?
No, I like Venrock.
I like Venrock.
Really? Oh, no, I guess I kind of like him too. He's snarky.
He's pretty snarky.
I like it.
Besides, if he double crosses us, Gragnold will cut his head off.
There we go.
Will. That's a deal. I like that. I don't trust him at all. I think he's going to betray us. Therefore, ipso facto, I will cut his head off.
Hold on. Did you just use ipso facto in context?
QED.
Good job, Gragnold. And you see the queen can lean back. If he betrays you, behead him.
Today must be my birthday.
You'll be going against my orders anyway. You'd be doing me a favor. Supply me with information, and if I have need of you, you will answer my call.
That seems like kind of an open-ended contract.
I would,
I can write out the details should you like it, but you all. She kind of gives again that measuring look, that piercing look that seems to see right through you. Not worth the trouble to hold, but potentially incredibly useful if needed. Your great-great-great-great-great-grandsire, his soulstone resides with a dragon turtle.
Oh, not the dragon.
Is this Shelly?
We were trying so hard to avoid the dragon turtle.
I think she has a name. I don't think her name is Dragon Turtle. I think her name is Shelly.
Not that I've heard, but if that's what you wish to call that being, then fine.
I do.
Truly, he's not worth your time.
He?
If you want more power. And again, she switches into the aquatic language again.
Her great-granddad or
I can give
whatever.
you more power than he could ever dream of in any state he's ever been in or could ever be.
I respond in aquatic, and is that part of the deal then?
No. Free information. Just know you free him. He's not long for any plane.
I would like it to be known that I always have envisioned aquatic to sound like. It's not regal sounding at all.
No, it's like just gargling. Yeah. Well, that's how it sounds on the surface. Underwater is just sort of this like whoosh, like this whooshing sound of water. It sounds cool underwater. On the surface, it sounds.
Like the theme song to Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
So, is the queen agreeing then to give Enkai
Sorry.
the power, like to be able to tap into her power if she doesn't, or she doesn't care if I
So, out of game, like kind of side stuff. So, and really quick for people watching too, Rachel, this is her first D&D campaign, and I'm not going to be a jerk of a DM and screw her into something. She's essentially offering to have you become a warlock to her.
I don't know.
What that means, do other DMs want to explain?
I want to be a warlock to her.
So
I like her. I'm not crazy.
Looks cool,
about
judging
rock.
by their face.
Rachel,
Well,
there's several different
depends.
ways to get magic. In the world of Dungeons and Dragons, magic comes from all sorts of different places. Wizards tap into magic by moving their hands in a certain way and saying certain words,
Dr.
and they
Strange.
do it in a very specific way, and that pulls energy from a magical plane of existence and then makes spells happen. But there are several other ways that you get magic too. For instance, sorcerers are sort of naturally tapped into that stream of magic, or clerics and paladins get their magic from gods, and those gods get their magic from a magical source, and then sort of grant those powers to a cleric. And the same thing is true for druids. Druids get their magic from the natural source, often like a natural god or the nature, the plane of nature itself. Warlocks get their magic from a pact, a contract. Usually with something powerful enough to be able to grant magic to someone else, but also usually not good. Oftentimes it's a fiend or a demon or an outer world thing like a Cthulhu monster or something like that. Usually beings that are too powerful to like exist in the plane of material plane, but they exist outside of it and grant their magic to this by contract to this other person. So,
so you're like their slave. Kind of.
It's a little bit of like it's a mutually.
We prefer the term indentured servant.
You're an indentured servant.
You're work for hire under a paid contract.
And what you I'll pull the screen back a little bit.
Yeah.
So Venrock and Nar are both warlocks to her, and part of the contract is they have to come back and serve in her court for a certain amount of time to gain more powers.
Oh, I see.
And do tasks for her and go do errands and things. So,
well, see, like, but Enkai is a druid, and she has like natural abilities within her. So I don't.
You're a druid?
Did you really not know that?
Wow! Did you see that?
What?
I know. Wow.
So I mean, she doesn't want to be like bound to anyone. She's like a pirate, right? She doesn't want to be bound to anybody.
Yeah.
But what she wants is just like the knowledge it would take to like advance her powers forward on her own. But that's not what's being offered by this lady.
No.
There's an interesting sort of question here of like how far is Enkai willing to go to get the power she sees?
Gragnold,
and that's essentially what is
hard on this. Gragnold says, "Hell no, you're not doing that. Freedom is an ultimate value for us and our people. You will not do this."
Well, Gragnold can't tell me what to do.
I know that's the paradox.
Okay.
do we actually all hear this offer? No, it's in aquatic.
Yeah, it's in aquatic. So that's why I'm allowing for some side talk and
thank you. Okay,
education on this. But it I'm gonna hit the nail on the head really. This is basically how far is Enkai willing to go in her quest for power and knowledge.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're the Faust one of us who has had an offer like this.
Mephisto twins.
Faust one of us.
Well, I mean,
nice. Wow, classic.
I mean,
one show a night. I'll be here all week.
Wow. Respect.
It's hard because the soul stone is with the dragon turtle, and I'm definitely not interested in opening that.
Do you want power or do you want family?
Oh, don't say that.
We can't say anything because we can't speak aquatic.
No, you don't know. I'm asking you out of character here.
This is the cross we bear as non-aquatic speakers. Can't intervene.
Yeah, but see, this is giving up power, and I have you guys as family, but the other family is in the soul stone at the dragon turtle, and I can't get that because I'm definitely not powerful enough.
It's the figurative use of the word family.
You're definitely at a crossroads. Ding, ding, boom, 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 ding, boom.
Yeah. It also, if I may,
you may
also still meta since we're all talking meta.
Yeah.
Baeridin would never put this together. It doesn't sound like you're being offered a choice of having to give up all of us.
No.
Just being offered the choice of like, it's basically like you'll get some power for the cost of maybe having to do some stuff for this patron.
Yeah.
I mean, just from the perspective of like what is Enkai willing to do?
Yeah.
Maybe she's bad, but the majority of the like contracts that warlocks make with people aren't necessarily bad. They're just they have other motivations, right?
If it gives you what you want, it's a great deal on your end. If you're getting power, you wanted power, might be a faster road to it.
And what she wants might be like she just wants information. She just wants to know like what shows are happening at what times on the material plane so she can go visit.
But she's gonna help us kill the rot regardless for the information that we're giving her. This is a separate deal.
Which her help in giving you power to help kill the rot.
Yeah, I know.
Like that's also a pretty good deal. Like we're literally talking to a god who's willing to like go, well, here's a whole bunch of power, and the exchange is like, well, maybe, but you're gonna have to do some stuff for me later.
Yeah.
Don't tie a string to something you don't know how to untie.
It's the truth.
Gragnold is so wise these days.
That was oddly prescient.
I know. I have a high wisdom. I just have a low intelligence.
He's brilliant, but can't speak a word.
Also, low charisma.
Yeah.
So what's more valuable to you, Rachel, as in character?
Yeah.
Use. How far are you going to go to get it?
Yeah, in character, yeah.
Oh, Adam's
I'll toss out one last meta thing. nothing interesting ever happened in a Dungeons and Dragons game due to a safe choice.
Yes,
that is fair.
true.
That is
Also,
fair.
Real
come
fair.
on.
Gragnold, the scene where
seriously.
Gragnold confronts you about this will be very exciting. So feel free to do
That's
whatever
true.
do whatever you want to do.
The scene,
Gragnold feels the way that he feels.
the scene where you choose power and then everything goes wrong. And then we all have to like deal with the choice that you made.
Oh yeah,
man, that's a powerful scene.
Yeah,
come on, Ray.
No pressure.
Pathos, feeling, emotion into
Just
the
saying,
scene,
just
dramatic
saying.
conflict.
And
From
I
a
will,
meta perspective.
and from another meta perspective too, also so like you don't feel like you're being super pressured one way or another. One, as a DM, I have no preference for where this goes. Okay. I'm not trying to steer you. I am literally trying to give you as much agency as possible in this wider world of weirdness of this is fully your choice. Two, you get the sense that one is it's not an offer that's lightly given, and it's also not an offer necessarily with a expiration date.
Oh, okay.
So it could be something that if in a month or two you're like, you know what, give me some more, give me some
or even
Yo,
better,
Split, where did you use that?
it might be worth asking if you can sign this contract at any time. And then when we're all about to die because we're being crushed by a dragon turtle, then you can go like, all right, I'm ready to sign.
That's some good DMing right there.
And then get yourself a whole lot of power in a real
Spoken like a game master right there, yeah. So yes, read the fine print as what's their name said. And then we can put all the good stuff into the fine print.
Roll the dice, move your mice.
Okay. That's a lot of information. I will say, like, in character, Enkai served her whole life on a ship, like, serving other people. Mm-hmm. So I feel like she would not be interested in that. And power is not her primary motivation. Like, family has always been her motivation, and now she has one, right? So I don't know. I think, okay, I just say, is this an offer that I can come back to?
Think on it. And there's a fish that swims by, and she pulls off this one little fish scale. It's not teeny, but small enough.
It's a guitar pick.
Yeah, about guitar pick size. And she hands it to you. Maybe change your mind.
She's telling you you can become a bard.
yeah. How bards get their magic is
6 easy lessons.
So to finish up Adam's
but you can only play fish songs.
How bards get their magic is they just come in and go, holy shit, guys, I was playing this epic solo and someone's head literally exploded.
That's how you know you're really good.
Yeah. The bard I play, theoretically, in one level, I could roll a 56 performance check.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. I thought it was 56 damage you could roll.
No, I did 66 damage with a spell.
Oh.
Man, that
bards.
Crunchy grooves right there.
Yeah. Anyway, if you change your mind, let me know. But taking care of this rot, this is of interest to me. And having you all as allies, should you be needed, is also of interest to me. So, I'll give you safe passage back to the material plane and a way to make your ship move a touch faster. Yes, you have sweet and sour sauce.
Yes.
You get used to that.
That brings me to my request. How much sweet and sour sauce do you have? And can Clamshell Guy come with us?
It's just, I don't keep stock of what's in the kitchens. And if you require another servant, Clamshell Guy, as you have put it, is fairly little use and of certainly.
Welcome to the team. guy? Does he have legs or does he have a fin like a fit? Like a
I know this is a human. He's a human.
Perfect. Does our ship have a galley?
Question.
Yeah.
Ask if he knows how to make them, or if he just carries them.
Yeah, he needs to teach.
Just that's it. You might be getting one phenomenal trader.
Yeah.
But he's like, well, I don't know.
No, he's great. He has a clamshell that makes more sweet and sour sauce. Right? Clamshell guy?
You've been lying to me this whole time?
I get it from the kitchen.
Get out of here.
I try and interrupt them just to stop this from happening.
Right.
And I bow
Clam
deeply.
shill guy.
Your Highness, Queen Salona, before we leave, I have a request.
She seems very offended that you're speaking to her.
I realize that I am an unworthy creature from the material plane, and simply hearing my request is, well, a boon unto itself. But if I may be so bold as to request something in addition. I have studied for decades the power of the elements. And if you could bequeath me any additional understanding of the power of water, I would be in your debt.
I can grant power related to the water, most
Ah, crap!
Did you ever play Shadowrun? Never deal with a dragon. It was your first fiction book.
You said this stuff in aquatic. I didn't understand it.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
I can grant you power of water.
Enkai, you have to save Daphne.
Shoot.
At what cost?
A trifle.
Trifle to you or trifle to me?
Perhaps both.
2 truffles?
No, the trifle. The different dish.
That clamshell guy, they're having truffles.
What is this trifle?
Adam, you have a green screen, so I so want someone to green screen.
Clamshell guy right there. Right here.
What trifle do you mean?
Coming to study for a time.
How much time?
Depends on how quick you are to study.
Can you give me an average range?
Well, it's a 15-week semesters.
This gonna be on the test?
15
weeks?
Yeah.
A few weeks to a few months, depending on how astute you choose.
They're not speaking in aquatic, and I know this is happening.
Yeah.
This is a fool's bargain.
But is it?
Yes, it is.
Really, Daphne?
What? Why shouldn't I do this?
Do you want to be in someone else's dominion?
A couple months.
Forever.
It's never
It
that
will
simple.
Be forever.
It's never that simple, Dabney. You know this better than anyone. You'll wear that mark your rest of your life.
Fine.
You carry enough burdens as it is, Dabney. You don't need to carry another one.
I bow deeply. Thank you, Your Royal Highness Salona. I must say no. Respectfully.
As you come up, you feel some water rush by your hand, and there's a small fish scale in your hand, and you hear
for the love of crumb cake.
a whisper in your ear. Change your mind, let me know.
Goodness. Well, why don't you have enough for everyone?
You don't see or hear this. This is just in Dabney's ear.
Great.
Oh. I don't trust her anymore. I think she's fishy. I've been saving that up. Yes.
The chat is tracking the best pun of the night.
Yeah.
It's got probably that one.
I don't know. I got their Faust.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, Faust
That's pretty good.
Holla at your boy. Holla at your boy.
So, I help you get where you want to go. You take care of this rot, and if I'm in need of a bit of extra magic and muscle, you'll answer my call.
I won't, but I have some questions for you before we leave.
We have to. That's the deal.
That's the deal.
They're the ones that got the scale.
No. She said
No,
she said that about the rot stuff.
Can I ask
This
a
is the
question?
deal for the rot.
I know, and then I want to get something for me too. Everyone else is getting treated.
Wait, Finrot?
Not getting anything
I mean, only when it gets down here.
except for helping Enkai.
I
You
want
got
to
all
know.
that sweet and sour sauce.
And that's great. I'm curious about the two-headed one who was with us and what's going on with that. He had two heads. He was with us for a long time. Then they called him the Star Child. And I'm curious if you know anything. You seem like you know a lot of things. I don't like when my friends become evil, and I think he did, and I'm curious about that. That wasn't really my friend. Maybe I overspoke.
You really didn't like him much.
They were a traveling
Well,
companion.
you liked half of one.
One of them was cute. The other one was a bit much. But anyway, I'm just curious. Are they evil now? They were involved with Palor, and I pretty much hate Palor now.
This isn't something I would know, but
Ah,
I have someone who can answer your questions, though information like that will come at a bit of a cost.
of course there's a cost. I have
What
890 on
doesn't?
this bag.
And
You're one of the
she
first
flips
Gragnold.
towards the door, and very quickly you hear a sort of rapid. And you all who saw the woman come in before, she comes in again with this long hair and long fingers.
Is this the
That
witchy
one
lady?
with the
Witchy woman.
sweet and sour
Witchy woman, definitely.
his face
See
has
her.
questions.
Uh,
Ah, yes. You're... I like she kind of recoils a little bit from you, Gragnold.
Can't imagine why.
God touched. I don't like that. Ugh. Didn't see it up from there. Thought, what is it you're wanting to know?
Gragnold.
Ask her.
My-
Gragnold.
My internet froze, and all this lady comes over with her long fingers, and I was like,
Oh!
I just thought you were staring intensely.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah, we all
I
thought
was
it.
frozen.
Damn.
You've done it before.
Yeah, commit
No.
to the bit.
I committed to the bit. In this case, I don't know what you said because my internet stalled out.
Oh, that's
But I'm still gonna give the same face. The whole time.
She started and said it and recoiled and said, "Ugh, a god touched." It doesn't seem to want to come near you or Baeridin.
I want to high five. I think you're over here. I don't know which way you are. I'm
Oh,
gonna
wait.
high five you.
Yeah.
You're high-fiving me?
Yeah.
We're God touched. I'm gonna swim over to this lady and just make her swim away from me. I'm needing some power right now. That lady did.
Yeah,
what
she
did.
definitely kind of recoils a bit. Just like, what is it you want?
Well, mostly I'm looking for my purpose in life.
No, the other
She kind of,
Sorry.
she stares like right at the wolf fang around your neck. And it's like, more purpose than what your god gave you.
He tends to speak in metaphors. Still struggling with that.
Other question, Gragnold.
Oh, do you know anyone with two heads?
I know many things with two heads.
Someone who has one's a young head and one's an old head, and I think they now are speaking for Palor.
Star Child.
Star Child, thank you. That's the one. Thank you, Bird. Thank you, Bird. Sorry, I forgot which direction you were.
Do you have anything of this person's?
Does anyone have anything from Rick?
Dick and Marty?
Marty?
Let's see here.
Rick.
Probably have some gold they gave me.
Can you create this
Yes,
like
most of my gold. A good chunk of it I won during a bet.
It seems like exactly the thing to hand to this weird salad fingers lady.
Should take some of the gold and like you can.
I take 4 pieces just to play the odds in terms of things because about half of it I won off of them.
Yeah, so you grab the gold like from the very bottom of your bag, and she's like twisting it through her fingers, and then eventually it disappears.
That was mine.
Is this your coin?
And she reaches down to her belt and she pulls out this string of bones.
Yeah, that's not my gold.
I'm going to... I'm making
bones
this up as I go. Yes. I'm going to roll 96.
To give me my gold back?
4, because you handed 4 gold. 4, 5, and 6 are nuggets of information that you'll gain.
That's a good
grumble.
Odds. Well, them's good odds. Should give him 6 gold.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's 2, 4, 6. Only 2 dice were less than 4. Jack's doing card tricks.
I just noticed.
She throws the bones down and looks.
The bones tell me nothing.
Nothing. No.
And it's a callback.
The one that is 2 is actually only 1.
No, I think he's 2 actually.
The one that is 2 is 1.
The second head you saw, not real.
Like an illusion?
Yet represented someone who is. The Star Child is not the one who touched the gold you gave me.
Huh?
Pretty sure it was.
I mean, he handed it to us.
They handed it to him.
No, both of them. That's true.
It's both. It's two heads.
Mm-hmm.
Only one. One head was not real.
I don't trust you. It's 2 heads.
The Star Child is a separate thing from the one you knew. Both are connected, though. They are not from here.
Do you, by chance, know anyone who...
They caused great damage when they came.
Here? They came here? They came to the water plane?
Not here. Your place.
Okay.
The inn?
Yeah.
That is all I see.
You remind me of a fortune teller we met in a wagon once. Not very helpful, is what I was about to say. Confusing, mostly, but hope that was worth 4 gold, Dabney.
What, you want to pay me back? I was trying to be helpful. What were you trying to do?
I hand you the whole bag of gold.
I'm not taking your gold.
Okay, well, so what you said is that it's not really 2, it's just an illusion, and really one of them is the real one, the other one is not real, but they're both connected, and they're connected to something else.
Essentially.
All right. The real one, are they really our friend? Or were they just trying to do their own thing?
That one...
Because we were together for a long time.
He's a bit broken.
Well, we're all a little bit broken, lady.
I love that you ended it with a lady.
She just kind of looks as like some more than most.
You been reading my diary?
You have a diary?
Yeah, I'm working on it.
You can read?
I can write.
Yeah, he's made his own. He made his own written language. Remember?
Oh, I forgot about that.
He rolled like 2 natural 20s on making a language.
I write poetry in my language.
I think
Try
only
learning
Daphne.
that
Gragnold.
language.
I think you know it. I think you're the only one who speaks it besides Gragnold.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
I taught it to you in exchange for teaching me Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Where have you been?
Asleep? We covered that.
This happened ages ago.
Okay, so he's broken, we're broken. That's the state of being mortal in this world. I acknowledge this. This is why we're all questing for our own purpose in life. Trying to make sense of this meaningless void we call life.
And you actually see like the queen is kind of looking a little happy.
Existential crisis much?
You're wrong. And sorry, gotta get out the witch's voice.
No, it's okay. Let's just not put the cart before the horse.
Carp? Was that
No,
carp?
no, I said let's not put the cart before the
Oh,
horse.
Descartes. Oh, God.
What? Link jokes are okay, philosophy jokes are not.
But Descartes would have been the best synergy of fish.
That's true. Yeah.
So ergo suck. Think therefore you suck.
Well, you
Wow.
are a bit more interesting than even I had thought. So, will you take my offer of aid?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Wait, what was the offer?
I just
He's
want
gonna help us go find the rock.
He's gonna help
Sure,
us.
we'll fight the rock.
Oh,
Rot.
my Solana.
Sorry, I heard a different phony.
And in exchange, she's gonna call on us for a favor sometime. We have to come and show up and do a favor.
Like the fish father?
Yeah.
Day of my daughter's wedding.
I was in my house and the day of my daughter's wedding. Come on, my boy. Let's shut up, my boy.
Oh God, one of the most horrible scenes.
So we could do the whole orange thing.
Well, I tire of this. Do you accept?
We do.
Very well.
We could use the help.
She goes over to one of the windows and sets a hand on it, and it opens. And you see like a bit of the water come kind of rushing in around into all of you. I will let you know if I have need of you. My associates will come to get updates on a fairly regular basis. I'll send the ones you know.
You just want the information about the rock, right?
Ben Rock.
Rot,
Don't send Van Rock.
the rot, and this church you speak of seems interesting. And she snaps her fingers, and like it's underwater, so it's strange, but you do hear a very distinct snapping sound as this water kind of envelops all of you and just shoots you out the window and shoots you through the water. You see yourselves coming towards that orb of darkness down in the water, and you just rocket through it. And like, it's a shock to the system at first because it is incredibly cold and dark, very dark. So you're in the elemental plane of water. It's warm, it's light, it's very nice. And now you're back in the sea. And you find yourselves jettisoning up right next to the boat. And for sake of time, I'm going to narrate a little bit. Y'all climb in, pull up the sea anchor, and kind of start getting ready the sails. But like the boat kind of shimmies for a moment, and you look around and you see this water that is around your boat. Just basically like pick it up and start moving you all through the water at incredible speed, faster than you could be sailing. But what's strange is the water that the boat is in is completely still. It's like you're being lifted up and just pulled. It still takes several hours of travel. But as the sun is coming up, you all make it back to your ship. As you are climbing up, you see Naren packing up her things and kind of looking distracted. It's like, Dabney, where was it that you were? I had need of your assistance last night. This one could not take notes. Why were you not here?
Because I was helping the captain, who outranks you.
I have the information you need.
You
Great.
do?
Yes, by my calculations, interestingly enough, the solstice of winter seems to be when this convergence is going to happen. So whatever it is that's going on, it's going to happen then.
Oh, so we have a few months.
Seemingly. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Probably some interesting anomalies. We'll need to be in a good place to observe it then. Captain, you are able to get the ship to wherever coordinates we need, right?
I just kind of look at her and I keep walking, going to the captain's quarters.
Why are you going into my quarters? Highly unusual.
Not now, Karen.
No, it's Naren.
No,
Naren.
Karen is so much better. Karen is so much better. Please call
Let's
her.
go. And as you're going down, again, like you feel this sort of like jostling of the ship as no sails are up. Anchors just started to be pulled and it starts to move along. Not as fast as the dinghy, but it's moving. And you can see all around the ship, again, the water is just propelling you all forward. And that is where we will end tonight.
Woo.
Wow.
All right.
We got to get some of this water power going on. Ship go
We
up.
got that going on. That's why we're going forward.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Goodness.
All of the puns. Where am I?
Look at the pond.
A life without puns is a life not lived. I don't understand.
I'm trying to find the music I wanted to play. I can't find it. It's okay. We're here. So, yeah, that was fun.
That was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was super fun. I like meeting this Solana lady. It's nice.
I look forward to Venrock being beheaded by Gragnold because it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen.
It probably is gonna happen.
It's probably.
But I like Venrock.
He will betray us, and I will cut his head off. It is.
Oh.
As is prophesied.
And now, like, once you guys get super duper OP, I can have you come fight a Kraken.
That's true.
That'd be pretty great.
What about
The Krakentini?
Really.
And that
Or
we
Shelley.
haven't leveled up in a bit.
You
Oh,
haven't.
Megan.
No, you haven't.
We got to fight some things.
She's like, yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect
yeah.
reaction.
We can't fight Shelly right now, but we're moving anyway, so maybe the fight.
I'm gonna fight the sails till I level up.
You all don't level up by fighting things. We're on.
Yeah,
Oh, you and your
Story beats.
milestone level ups.
Yes.
Just go wander around in circles in the woods and grind until we level up.
I'm going to keep killing squirrels. Oh, look, you got a coin.
Oh no! Well, the squirrels deserved it. They started it.
As many wild boars as we can.
Okay, can I just say, like, how amazing it is that this got pulled again?
I think
Yeah,
that
he's
Like-
back.
It's incredible.
That
Yeah.
Cannot-
It's Destiny.
It's so
Like-
amazing.
You still do have the shirt, right? That
Oh,
I'm gonna find it.
Okay.
yeah.
I'm gonna
I-
find it.
Rachel, do you have the picture in the background of our the painting that Randall did
I
of
do.
the cast?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have one at the office. It's pretty great. I was gonna buy one of those T-shirts, and I keep meaning to.
Suppose
Is
I
that
should get one back there.
Redbubble?
Yes, it is on Redbubble. Geeks Like Us Redbubble.
I think I might
And
get one of those.
Yeah, it's
the
pretty
Clinical
great.
Role logo that Randall did, the poster of all. I bought a poster from it as well. I have it in my office. In my office that I don't go to anymore because
Yeah, we have a canvas
quarantining.
at our office. Exactly.
Yeah.
I have some extra. I have some extra frames for when AC Moore was shutting down. I was like, man, I got like piles of art that I bought at conventions, and I just never had enough frames. So AC Moore goes down, I'm like walking out with like 18 friggin' frames. Like, thanks everybody. Sorry about the jobs. Oh my god, I sound like a jerk. But great deals. But I have a bunch of extras.
Really
yeah.
Oh my god. They make the Randal poster in a duvet cover?
Yes.
What?
I'm going to get one as a
Please get
sleeveless
that.
tee.
Please get that and send it to her. Because
Yeah.
I
Imagine
have to chat with someone who's not me about that.
curling up underneath the pictures of us.
All of us.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I want to get it for
You
like
can
a
be
guest
with
room
us
and just so your guest would be like,
what is going on? Yeah, I love the logo Randal did for us and the post.
So
it's
good.
so beautiful.
Good.
It's so wonderful.
My husband takes his meetings in here now that he works from home too, and every time someone's like, "What's that?"
I have
Why Steve
Randall's
Digger?
card right here.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, you're reminding me. I need to answer the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's too late, I think.
He
I was supposed
messaged
to answer the
me.
survey like 3 days ago.
Well, that was a Friday.
Actually, speaking of other gaming, I don't know if is it okay to like advertise cool products that's out? Yeah, for anyone who is a fan of Renegade Game Studios, Hunters Entertainment, Kids on Bikes, Teens in Space today, you can pre-order Kids on Brooms, which is like the Harry Potter Wizarding School latest edition. If you pre-order, basically gives you PDF access in, I believe it's August. You'll get access to the PDF copy, and then you'll get physical copy. So it's absolutely just the next incredible part of the whole series. And that just started today. They made that announcement.
That's awesome. Now, Scotman has a question for us and us to all of you. Are you able to play next week?
Negative.
Okay.
Yeah,
Negative. So. I have some things scheduled every other week.
Alrighty. I will be here next Monday. I will be doing something. I don't know what. Oh, actually, I might know. I might be doing a stream of introducing people to D&D.
Oh, nice.
So I'll message and see if I can get that happening. But I'll be doing something. I'm also getting We're Gonna Break D&D game together soon. So that's gonna be.
Are you?
Yeah. That will be a lot of fun. I just, it's one of those weird things where I'm like, I need to come up with a story idea. I'm like, but there's no way they're actually doing the story.
You don't need a story.
So
you meet in a tavern.
Yeah. I think it's mostly going to be, here's a quest. Maybe need to have an idea of a couple of monsters that they'll meet. I don't know. But it's mostly going to be just pulling from decks.
That's going to be fun.
I will tell you, Megan, from having worked with some of these people, they will pull from the Deck of Wonder regularly.
Yeah. I think I want to do a thing of there's got to be certain points where they pull from the Deck of all the things and then like pull from the Deck of Wonder, maybe pull from some of the other
Deck
decks.
of Many Things.
Yeah. Well, the Deck of all the things has the Deck of Many Things in it, plus a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
So it'll be a Gemhammer extravaganza.
Yeah. Actually, I had a question. Adam, how did the Q&A go over the weekend? Was that this past weekend?
Yeah, it actually went really well. It was great. We're
awesome.
Game to Grow has launched a pretty much relatively weekly webinar program. This last one was myself and Elizabeth Kilmer just answering questions from the audience, which was awesome. A week before that was Elizabeth talking about, last two actually before that were both Elizabeth talking about conflict at the game table. There's one coming up this weekend that is actually Michael Moore, one of our facilitators, is talking about running games online. For the next 2 weeks, Michael Moore doing that.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, that I wanted to make sure that you talked to it because I don't know if we had talked about it before, but that's and I see a lot of people doing that. So I wanted to ask on how that went for you all. We're actually going to be doing recorded versions of our panels that we've done
Nice.
at different conventions. Since we can't do cons right now,
Right.
we're going to do them virtually and record them so we can have them up. So I love that all this content and then, you know, that's been coming out that everybody's doing. I think it's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah. We're launching a more. First, we've done 3 so far. We're doing a 4th one and a 5th one, and then hopefully soon we'll get like a content calendar out where we can have like a plan ahead for when you can come join in and learn a specific thing around games and the application of them and community building, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we will sign off here just a couple minutes early, but thank you everybody who stuck with us, and I'll be back next week with some sort of D&D related content. And in 2 weeks, we will continue this story.
Yes.
Going. So
See you
thank you all. Stay safe. Wash your hands.
All right.
Thanks for
Care
joining
of
us.
yourselves and each other.
Yes. Take care. Bye. Wash hands. Bye. I don't know if we're clear enough. Just keep waving.
We'll keep waving. We're keeping waving.
No, we should do one of
still
those like
live.
pre-strains. Like
We're still alive.
It seems like we're still live.
Oh my
Still
goodness.
alive.
Bye, everybody. We're just
I'm
going to
powering
keep
my
Got a message for Ben.
What?
It's so amazing how long we can smile and
We'll
wave.
smile and wave. La,
We're
la, la.
buying
It's
everybody.
amazing.
We're buying
Doing
forever.
We're
like a
saying goodbye.
newscast joke.
Because Sven is not cutting us off.
Nope. Sven is liking this, I think.
Oh,
I think
Oh,
probably.
so now
I
it's
probably have to go run into the
Oh.
other room and turn it off.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
I'm
this
going to have
is
to go run
worse.
into the other room.
Oh my
You're gonna
goodness.
wave?
All right, I'll
I'm
be
gonna
back.
keep going.